Raina, Raina, rise up, Raina, Raina, rise up, Raina, Raina, rise up, Raina, 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 rise up, Raina, Raina, rise up, Raina, Raina, rise up, Raina, Raina, rise up, rise up, my people, see the morning light.
Rise up, rise up.
Stronger together, Mama will claim our right.
Together we strong.
Hearts united, hope burning bright.
Thunderman,
This is our moment, our future in sight. We've walked the valleys, we faced the storm. Still we are standing, proud and strong. With every trial, we've grown in grace. Now is the time, let us take our place. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. We never tire, no, we never quit. Our dreams are alive, we are made for this. With faith unshaken, our voices sing. Barbados rising, let freedom ring. From east to west, from coast to town, coast to town. Our island spirit will not back down, never down. Hand in hand, we'll build anew. The promise of tomorrow shining through. A better tomorrow, the future is near. Hope in our hearts, no place for fear. God bless Barbados, we'll shine forever. Our turn is here, we rise together. A better tomorrow, the future is near. Hope in our hearts, no place for fear.
Marcy loyal sons and daughters all. Good evening, everybody. You're watching the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. I have in my hand the national flag of Barbados, and you just heard that beautiful anthem of Barbados. Oh, it's wonderful to see everybody join tonight, and we have a really riveting show tonight that's going to stir you. It's called Our Citizenship is Not for Sale. Barbados must resist. Protest march this Saturday. This Saturday is our protest march because Barbados is not for sale, and Barbados belongs to all of us, not to the politicians. Not just to the politicians. Lucinda Allen, good evening. And when we come together, we do come together as one family. One family, Monica, Judy, I hope to see you at the march where we defend Barbados. We defend our birthright. Diana Husbands, good evening. Owen Hines, how are you doing? Come on, Owen Hines, if you're in Barbados. No, you're not. You're locked on from Philadelphia. And I say to you, Owen Hines, we in Barbados, we're going to do something we've never done before. They said, oh, Bajans, they don't like to march. They don't like to protest. But when it comes to Barbados, when it comes onto our identity, Sir Alfred Benjamin, you're going to stay in New York and hear of us, Sir Alfred, and you're going to be proud of your Barbadian brothers and sisters, Lori, Bob, and Andrea Critchlow. Marcia Miller, let me see the thumbs up, guys. So those of you who are coming to the march. Marcia, are you coming to the march? Mildred, everybody needs to be there. This is a protest march, the immigration and citizenship bills. That's what we are talking about. Now, based on what I understand is that these bills, Mildred and Lori and CC Parker, good night, that these bills actually are with the Joint Select Committee. And usually what that means is that they're going to take submission from the people of Barbados. And this is why a march like this is so important. We've got to hold their feet to the fire. We need to let them know absolutely not. There are sections in these bills that we want nothing to do with. Okay? We are not going to be making a shorter pathway to citizenship. We don't want that. Yes? Beverly Prescott, Aaron Hunt, Cherry Berry. Listen, folks, get out on Saturday, you know, whether it is raining or it is hot. Bring an umbrella, and we have lots of water. We always have water, Mavis Lashley. And what we do, Robert, good night, is those of you, if you get tired, we have a van there for you. All right? But most times people are enjoying the thing so much, the march, because, the music, and they shout, and it's really an electrifying atmosphere. And now what's been happening is that we're finding the people on the side of the road, those who are selling, they're joining in with us. And I know this very patriotic protest march that we are going to have, Mavis, that we know that we're going to find people are going to connect with it. Okay, Winnie, people are going to connect with this march more than anything else. Judith, hi Judith, trust all is well with you. Yes, Aaron, good night. Judith Ann, yes. Barbados belongs to all the people. Yes, Beverly, ADG, good night. Yes, my loyal opposition family. You're right, Teroni, Marva Hunt. Listen, folks, I need you to put this on your calendar, Saturday, October 11th at 10 a.m. We're there at Massacre Park, there at Kensington Oval, and then we go over to Independence Square. We walk to Independence Square, and it's really electrifying. You feel fulfilled that you're standing up for something, that you've believed in something, you're standing up for something. okay? Yes. So talk to your co-workers about it and make an outing of it. You know, make it something that you do together. Bring out the entire family, all the children. We're going to have the Barbadian flags there. We're going to have placards. We're going to and placards that are speaking about what we are, what the topic is. You know, in terms of the immigration and citizenship bills, all the concerns will be there. Okay. Somebody want to know if there'll be cheese cutters? Oh, if there'll be cheese cutters. Who is that? Timothy Wright? I don't know about any cheese cutters. Hi, Teroni. Hi, Adrian Hines. Hi, Thunder. Hi, Cecilia Hunt. Listen, folks, we are on a momentum right now. We cannot turn back. We cannot turn back. It is too important. Yes. Tonight, guys, I have some, something I want to share with you. I find myself writing these days, and I have a little something I want to, from my heart, that I want to share with you. And as I speak to you tonight, I don't speak to you as a politician. As you all know, I'm no politician, but as a loyal, naturalized daughter of this soil. And I say naturalized because I know how it gets out there on social media. Yeah. But our anthem, our national anthem, calls us loyal sons and daughters, all. You're a citizen of Barbados, as I am, loyal sons and daughters all. The question is, are we going to be loyal to Barbados now? Who is going to defend the honor of this country? Loyal sons and daughters all. And this evening, today, that call must echo louder than ever. May it echo louder than ever, because Barbados is in danger. If you agree that Barbados is in danger, put a thumbs up, please, or some sign in the comment section. Our government has made the easiest path to citizenship in the entire Caribbean. Our government has made Barbados the easiest path to citizenship in the entire Caribbean. Let me read it again. Our government has made Barbados the easiest path to citizenship in the entire Caribbean. And we, the people, had no say. Do you see why you've got to defend the honor of this country? Our citizenship, our birthright, our future are being placed on the auction block. We're being asked to quietly accept laws that will change Barbados forever. But we will not. We will not accept them. Our jobs are at risk. Our already broken healthcare and education systems will collapse under the pressure of unmanaged immigration. Let me be clear, we're not against our Caribbean brothers and sisters. After all, I was born in Jamaica. We love them. We are one people of shared history and struggle. But we must stand for managed immigration, not uncontrolled open borders that threaten the very fabric of our nation. This is not unity. This is surrender. And we just cannot allow it. If you agree that we cannot allow it, thumbs up in the comment section. Let's be interactive tonight. I say it is not unity. This is a surrender. A surrender of our identity. And we just cannot allow it. We need to let our voices go all the way to Parliament. We just cannot allow it. We cannot allow it. Say it loud and let them hear it in the Senate. We cannot allow it. The people of Barbados are saying we just cannot allow it. Why should we have the easiest path to citizenship in the entire Caribbean? Why? On Saturday, October 11th, from Kensington Oval to Independence Square, every loyal son and daughter must march to defend our home. Every loyal son and daughter must peacefully march to defend our home. This is not about politics. Don't get it twisted. It's about survival. It's about the soul of Barbados. A soul that is now in pieces and sold to the highest bidder. We must rise. For our ancestors who built this nation, we must rise. We must rise for our children who will inherit it. We must rise for the Barbados that belongs to all of us. So let us march on Saturday, October 11th, from Kensington Oval to Independence Square. Every loyal son and daughter must defend our home. Not in hate, but in love. Love for Barbados. Because if we lose her now, we may never get her back. I say, Barbados forever. Folks, this is serious. It's a serious one. This is a serious one. This one, I know, I can see Errol Barra standing up. I can see Grantley Adams standing up. I can see Tom Adams standing up. I can see Prime Minister Sandiford standing up. I see David Thompson saying, what is going on? Will Barbados stand up? Andrea is agreeing with me. She says, our foreparents worked so hard and suffered so much for us. We owe them our loyalty to save our Barbados. We are saying we're not having it, Andrea. We're not having it. And we're not going to wait until things get worse to say we're not having it. We're just not having it. Yeah? So make sure, take the time out and let us make our voices known. We're going to make noise. I brought my noise maker here. Brought my noise maker. This is me on the street. I beat the pots until the thing is gone and the handle. You know, I can't use this pot cover anymore. This is me on the road. Bring your shirts. So you need your shirts. You need your spoons. You need your pot covers. You need your whistles. Whistles, spoons, pot covers, drums. What do you have? We're going to bring flags, Barbados flags. Wear your shirts. Wear the make noise shirts. Yes? And let us come out. Okay? All right. Now, one of our people, one of our loyal son is Mr. Victor Young. Mr. Victor Young. Guess what, guys? He is in Utah. You know, he always says Utah, and we like to honor our seniors, right? On this show, we do that. We have Mr. GLYNE Murray, who's going to be coming to us a little later. and I think he's 82 years old. Okay, Victor Young is 87 years old, and he has gone off to Utah. Anybody remember, can tell me what he's gone off to Utah to watch? If you watch the show, you know who Victor Young is, and you know what he's doing in Utah. I'm watching the comment section while I wait on Dave to bring up that mic on the move for me. Yes? Yes. So just before we started, let me say that the senior games, yes, and he's gone. The senior games, and he called me and he told me on Wednesday. He says, Madame Weeks, I am going to Utah. And I said, really, that is awesome. I said, what time do you leave? He said, 4 a.m. Right? I said, oh, wow. But he didn't know I was planning up something, a surprise at 4 a.m. we love Mr. Young. So Dave, go ahead and play the mic on the move. Thank you.
Just
You can start.
and we are here at the Bradley Adams Airport, and we are surprising somebody right now at the airport. Anybody can guess who? Can you guess who? You can just show his back with the Barbadians on it. Can anybody guess who this is? Who is this gentleman here? Who is this gentleman here? Is this Mr. Victor Young?
Yes, MARCIA. Yes, MARCIA.
We surprised you, didn't you?
Yes.
And where are you off to?
This is Mr. Stevenson. This is MARCIA Weeks.
Hello?
Nice to meet you,
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to do what I expected to do.
Yes, which is what?
The 50 meter, the 100 meter, 200 meter, and the 400 meter.
The 15 meter.
The 50.
50. 50.
The
100.
The 2.
A 2.
And the 4.
And the 4. Okay. Yeah. The 50. The 50. The 1.
The 50 meter. The 100 meter. And the 200 meters.
Yes.
In the age group of 85 to 89.
85 to 89 people. You believe this? 85 to 89. And you're going to represent Barbados?
No.
I'll
be representing my manager, my daughter, and myself.
Okay, so you do it.
They had nothing to do with it. This is a total family finance. There's no sponsors, nothing like that. It's totally my daughter, who is a neurologist in Georgia. She's seeing after all my finances.
Yes.
My manager and everybody. And he has been around me for at least 22 years.
Yeah, and so let me ask you, what you've been there before?
Yeah, I've been there 8 times.
You've been there 8 times?
Yes, but I didn't go again because after the government was not sending a team and people were paying individually, and I decided if they say I'm a celebrity, I should pay. So the last time I went was in 2014, but then after this administration came in, they decided to stop sending athletes. But this time, seeing that, as I said, my daughter, she would have got through with all her studies, and then she said, Daddy, seeing that you've made the requirements, I will have your manager, and I'll make sure that you're there.
Oh, wonderful. And the times that you went before, how did you do?
Well, I got silver, bronze.
Silver and bronze.
All the times that I've gone, I've medaled.
You've medaled. Oh, wow. And how many times have you gone?
8 times, and just now would be 9.
9 times?
This year would be the 9th time that we paying the fees.
Yes.
But all the other time, I represented Barbados, so I was picked on the team.
Right. But listen, I see the Barbados, are you wearing a Barbados shirt? You got the Barbados on it? And Barbados on the back. You know you love Barbados too.
Yes, but I wouldn't be saying anything down there, but I'm just speaking on behalf of myself.
Yourself, makes sense.
But still, I still got to wear, in a sense, because they still would know where I'm from.
Where you're from, right. And how many other persons are going this year?
I am not sure. We don't know because we are by ourselves. We didn't go on any team or anything like that. I don't even know if anybody else is going this time. Well, it's no problem. And I'm familiar with Utah. It's nothing new to me.
Yes.
I've been there, and everybody welcomed me when I got there.
Yes,
Everybody
yes.
was saying, "Victor, Broadback Young is here."
They call it broadback?
Yeah, because when I'm the bodysuits, the back spreads out
Wait!
as a form of bodybuilder.
You
So,
serious?
yeah. So that's why I got that name.
Broadback.
Victor Broadback,
Broadback.
yeah.
I am telling you. Well, I know you will come back with medals.
Well, I'll do good. I'll do good.
So what about the weather? Does that affect you?
No, the weather doesn't affect me. I'm adjusted to the weather. So is the altitude, but we are going at least 2 days before my event. My event starts on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we are going in then to Miami now. We leave Miami and go to Las Vegas, and then we will drive from Las Vegas to Utah. But I am accustomed to it. It's nothing really new to me.
Right, right. And what day do you come back?
Steve, we are right back home already.
On the 11th?
The 11th.
The 11th. The 11th. Okay.
I'll be back
okay.
on the 11th, God's prayer life.
Right. So how do you, because the weather is a bit different, the food is a bit different, how does that affect you, or
Well,
how do you prepare for that? Do you bring you have your own stuff, food to eat?
No, I adjust myself. I adjust myself to the meal.
Oh, okay.
I got no eating problems really. I know how I should eat. My plate doesn't look so. My plate look the same way that when I'm eating in Barbados.
Right, okay.
So I don't get excited at the meals. I don't want to take, the body know how much I should take.
Yes.
So I shouldn't take more. And you know when it should burn it up. So I've got my skipping rope is in here.
You have a skipping rope?
My well, I've got
Okay.
2 different skipping rope. The light skipping rope, where's my warming up and so forth. And I've got my stretch band, so I'll be ready.
Right, right, right.
And
So-
he's seeing after me like
Yes.
if he was my son. So,
You
and
make sure.
He's been there before, so he's not new to it either.
Will your daughter be there with you?
No, my daughter, she's in Georgia. She got to go to her clinic this morning.
So it's really just the two of you?
It's just the two of us. But she's got to go to clinic this morning, so she's got a clinic. But she's a neurologist, she's a fellow.
Wow, that's excellent that your daughter is able to do this for you. How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm proud of her. I mean, she's the last as the babies.
Really?
And I'm proud of her, but she makes sure she's very close to me. Because with God's prayer life, then after I come back, I will leave in December and spend Christmas with her.
Yes.
Me and Mommy will go down again,
Yes.
spend Christmas at her residence.
Yeah.
But she, as I said, she loved her father. She knows what he had to go through so to get her in university, and no government didn't pay or give any money for her. I work as a former fire officer. I work as a former insurance person. I work as a former health inspector. And then I work as a journalist for the papers. The last paper I worked for was a paper called The Truth,
Really?
belonging to Bernard, who was the speaker
Yes.
of the Barbados Labour Party.
Yes, I remember. I've researched that. I wasn't here, but I researched that
Yeah.
about the truth.
Yeah,
Bertie Hines.
I worked for 4 different print medias. I worked for which we would call the Observer, which I belonged to Winter Crawford, who was also a politician.
Yes.
And then I worked for the Beacon. And then the last one I worked for was The Truth, which was known as Minding by Business.
Wow. So you're a firefighter. You're a firefighter.
Yeah.
Yes,
A
and
health
you were a
inspector.
journalist, a health inspector,
That's right. An insurance executive.
insurance executive. Yes,
And I've been one of the top insurance executives in Barbados.
in Barbados. I know, and you're an athlete.
And now I've been competing here now for 20 years. And I've been every age group. I started in the 65 to 69 age group, straight up to champion at the 85 to 89 age group, which was the last event that just gone up. You seen
Right. Yes.
And I've also the most outstanding athlete for the 10 years of the senior games.
Really?
So So I win everything. It's
You
nothing
win.
for me to win at the senior
Yeah,
game.
most outstanding athlete.
I only compete now because I love what I'm doing.
Yes.
And nobody's going to slow me down.
Yeah.
The only body will slow me down is the Almighty.
Yes,
But
yes.
once I'm here, I'm going to be like this.
Yes,
So
yes.
I've got now 2 more years in this division, and then I'll be in the 90 to 94.
90. Remind us, you're 84?
I'm 87.
87. 87, and look at you,
Well,
straight as an
I
arrow.
don't need to bend. Anytime I'm like this, something is wrong. I need to be here.
Yes. 87, 3 years before you get to 90.
Yes, because I'll be running the 88. Next year I'll be 88. Then next year I'll be 89. And then I'll be going for the 90 to 94 age group.
Wow!
Because in Utah we got people with 104 and 105 who is running. And they're running 5 and 6 events, he will tell you.
What?
They're not people who, they don't know anything about. You call it, you can't do it. We just had a lady called Lily Doss, and she's been competing 6 and 7 events. So it's nothing about age. Age is just a number.
Right.
Once your faculties are turning over, you need to go. Because the body didn't made to be still. The body made to be moving.
Yes, yes, yes.
So anytime you put it still, you season it up.
So you need to move.
So you don't need to seize it up.
No, need to move. Keep going. Keep
That's
going.
it.
Well, sir, we want to wish you all the best on your trip. Safe journey, and may God bless you and give you great success.
And remember that when Mr. Hines called you, let him know I'm over there.
Yes. Mr. Hines, who's that
Yeah,
again?
the guy who calls on the program from
Ah,
overseas.
yes. I will. All the best. But we're going to show this and let everybody know that you're here. And hope to see you again when you come back.
Yes, when I return, I'll
Yes,
give
okay?
you a call.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, God bless.
All right.
Got it?
That is Mr. Victor Young. And oh, wasn't that very inspirational? Oh my goodness. Listen, the next morning I was surely out walking because at 87, if he can do that at 87, and you know what? That's what we used to have a little segment we call the Bajan spirit. And that is the true Bajan spirit, guys. And I really, I was inspired. And I was happy that, we were able to go at 4 in the morning. That's the Marcia Week show for you at the airport, getting the story. But when he told me about his daughter, and that she bought the ticket for him, and he didn't get any help from the government. I thought, what a story! We need to get this and to put it on record that his daughter did such a beautiful thing for him to make her dad happy. And I think that is wonderful. Well, we are moving from 87-year-old Victor Young, and we want to talk to some of our young people tonight about immigration and the Citizenship Bill. And I have a young lady here with me, Miss SHAQUANI HUNTE. Where is she? Miss SHAQUANI HUNTE. We haven't seen you in a long time. And somebody told me somebody had a birthday yesterday. I'm telling out your business.
Yes, I had a birthday yesterday.
Okay, wonderful. Well, from the loyal opposition and the Marcia Week show, we want to say to you, SHAQUANI HUNTE, happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, wonderful. And I see another in Jamaica they would say what is Beanie Man that said they had a song the girls them sugar. So this is Don Leacock. This is the old girls sugar, This is the old girls them sugar. He knows what I mean. So let's welcome Mr. Don Leacock. How you doing, Don?
Hey, good night, Marcia. Hi, happy belated birthday to you, SHAQUANI.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah.
Yes, it's great to have you, Don. Good to have you on here tonight.
Hmm.
And we are talking tonight on the Immigration and Citizenship Bill. And I
Yep.
thought that it's, always love to hear what the younger folks among us have to say. But Don, you got some, you got some fans, and so they saw you with doing an ad, and a lot of them are, I'm not, I don't stay away from controversy, and I come to you straight, because the people that I love, I'm going to go straight to them. And I went here and said, Don, the people messaged me, what is Don doing, our beloved Don doing in this ad? Tell the people what you told me quickly, because we can't take the whole night on it.
Yeah, it's sad it needs to be addressed. But yeah, I'm an influencer. Lots of different businesses across Barbados is hiring me to advertise their products or services. And this particular business is a new medical center in Sheraton. They do lots of procedures like shockwave therapy, red light therapy. There's a psychologist there as well. Full pharmacy stocked with all your prescription drugs, and they also sell medical marijuana as well. So in that ad, the majority of the video was me going through the pharmacy, showing you all the different stuff in the pharmacy. And then at the very end, we took a look at the medical marijuana and then had a little bit of it in a vape, which is how the government of Barbados is saying that you're legally allowed to have it. So, I mean, it was just an advertisement like I do multiple times a month for multiple different businesses. I understand that the older generation might still be against marijuana. I just want to underscore that in Barbados, it's only available medically, which means that you have to have a prescription, you have to be over 18 years old, and ideally, under all those circumstances, there aren't really any opportunities to abuse it. Hopefully, that's supposed to be the aim. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Just advertising another product or service like I normally do.
Well, let's hope that put everybody at ease. Put everybody at ease. They
Sure,
were
sure,
flooding my
sure.
timeline. So, well, you know what? Thank you for that,
Hmm.
Don. Okay, so we are talking here about the Immigration and Citizenship Bill, SHAQUANI, and we're hearing from everybody in society. And I want to ask you guys straight. You're hearing about this bill. Have you at any point, Shaquani or Don, considered, I wonder if it would be better going if I went off to St. Vincent, or if I went to Belize, or if I went to Dominica? I wonder if life would be better there, or be able to find a better job, or, etc. Let me start with Shaquani. Have you stopped and thought about that? Seriously?
Well, me personally, no. Barbados is it for me. I know if it get any much, I mean, if things get any more expensive, I will have to cut back additionally. But Barbados is definitely home for me. But in terms of my friends and my family, I recommend them to go abroad if the opportunity arises. Like I have a lot of friends and family who are nurses. I know a lot of people who also study fields who would not get good jobs in Barbados. So while they're looking to relocate, I never recommend staying here because they will be underpaid and overworked. And unfortunately, we do not have opportunities for people when they complete studying. There's nothing that can match what they should be paid here. We usually give persons who graduate entry level jobs. Even if they do have experience, they always let them start at the bottom, and sometimes there's no opportunity to grow into a bigger salary ever, not in next 10 years, next 15 years at all. Sometimes they're always at that lower income salary, but in the other islands they may get better opportunities. I'm not saying that it will be the easiest, but it may be better to go somewhere else outside of Barbados rather than being here struggling, prices increasing daily, and there's no relief, no opportunities, and no people to better themselves.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Shakwani. Don, are you and your friends getting ready to go to St. Vincent, Dominica, and Belize? Is it so when you
Hmm.
meet up together? Is it something that you talk? Or you going to get over there and do some business, or find another job? Is this what you're all talking about?
No, nobody's mentioned it once. Funny enough. The problem with this whole thing is, right, Marcia, it's the same thing. I know you would remember when they had the West Indies Federation back in the 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yes, from
And what was
history.
it?
Don't try to think that I'm from back in the 40s here.
What is it? Nobody
Only
said that. I just
history.
um
I read about it. Keep going.
all I am saying from that period is that there's a famous quote by Jamaica where they were like, well, 10 minus 1 is 0. When Jamaica pulled out, the whole thing fell apart because Jamaica, like Barbados is in this new treaty, is the by far the strongest player in the whole thing. When we think of it, when we break it down, even by minimum wage, Barbados has, on average, of the four countries combined, the minimum wage is double what it is in the other countries. The minimum wage is $5 an hour in Belize. I believe it is $6 Barbados an hour in both Dominica and St. Vincent. That's the EC dollar. So
Yes.
when you were talking about Barbados, where there's a minimum wage of now over 10 Barbados an hour, people from other countries are going to see that and be like, wow, Belize people can come here and double their current minimum wage. Vinci people and Dominicans can come here and get 40% more than we're getting. As you can see, Shafet is already recruiting in St. Vincent. They went over there and had a full recruitment drive. And the thing about migration is that when people migrate, they tend to have a much stronger work ethic than they did in their home country because they tend to appreciate the opportunity that they're given. Most of the time, you're migrating to a country that has a stronger economy than the one you're in. Barbados's economy is the only economy out of the four that I really think was ready for this move. I don't think the other three economies, like who is Dominica gonna absorb? Bajans can't go to Dominica and do anything. No offense to Dominicans or the country of Dominica, but there's nothing that a Bajan is going there to do. And similar in Vinci or Belize. From the four countries, everybody is going to be coming to Barbados, which means our hospital, which is already overrun and saturated, is going to be even more dependent. The NIS service. Hopefully, these people can't come here and start claiming unemployment. We'll have to see how all of that unfolds. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think that from the common Bajan's perspective, they have absolutely no plans of migrating to any of those countries. Similarly to history gone by, the countries that you really want to go to are Canada, England, America, etc. You're not going to go to a country where the currency is weaker than the Barbados dollar. So, of the four countries in this new CARICOM free movement agreement, Barbados's currency is the strongest, and you're going to see people from the other three countries move to where the currency is the strongest. For this to really work, Marcia, we would have had to already started negotiating about having like a Caribbean dollar, where all the currencies would be the same, where all the minimum wages and all the countries were the same. Because that's why it works so well in Europe, Marcia. In Europe, they all have the same currency. Majority of the countries have the same minimum wage, and that is why that free movement is able to work. I think it could work in the Caribbean. Like my social media name is the CARICOM Don. I would love it to work. I would love to see CARICOM unified, but it needs to happen in the right order. It needs to have a right process to it. The first thing I would do if I was in leadership in CARICOM or any individual country, you would have to work towards getting that Caribbean dollar before I would really start all of this free movement and everything. And that's an extremely tough process because how does Guyana come to the table? How does Jamaica come to the table? How does Barbados come to the table? And how do we divvy up all our different currencies and allocate, one currency to all these different people? Because a Bajan might only, let's say we wanted to adopt the Bajan currency across the Caribbean. Then we're gonna have Jamaican people that had millions of dollars. They'll be like, "Oh, well, I only have thousands of dollars now," and they, get anxious about that. But then you just have to explain to them, well, it's the same thing, different value. So, I've been going on for long. But the long and short of it is that I think we're gonna see a lot of people moving to Barbados, and minimal, if any, people leaving Barbados.
Yeah, but Don, very interesting what you're saying there about the European Union, because that's one of the first things that they did was with the currency, and that's why it's working, really. But Shaquani, do you agree with Don that Barbados is going to get the greater influx of immigrants because of the dollar, the same way we rush to America and rush to Canada? And if you agree with that, what impact as a young person that you think that is going to have on you, on you guys in the economy? Because right now, the, it is said that Barbados is an aging population, and I don't know if any of you can tell me what is the percentage, what percentage is youth. But Shaquani, what is the impact of that on the young people in Barbados, you think?
Well, we're already seeing impact. I don't know if a lot of people are aware, but if you are in construction, you watch construction, you will see a lot of the construction sites don't have a lot of Bajan workers. That is because they are being paid, well, the workers on site are being paid less money. And with that, Bajans, one, can't work for that. So if you are a normal laborer, you would usually work for between 100 Barbados a day or $120 a day, maximum 150. They are now paying some workers $80 or less. And with that, if you're not from Barbados, that is a lot of money. Some of those workers are given opportunities to live on site. Some of those workers live in group homes, so they don't have as much utilities or responsibilities here in Barbados, so they can cut costs. With that, even though there's a construction boom in Barbados, that doesn't mean that is a hiring frenzy for Barbadian workers. You actually have a lot more laborers not working. You have a lot more masons, carpenters not working because they're outsourcing work. Something as simple as, I remember, I think it was a supermarket looking for a meat packer, and they had put in a request for a permit so somebody can work in the supermarket.
A
So with
packer, a meat packer.
With that, what they're looking to do is get workers at a reduced cost, because $10.50 an hour is a lot of money for companies, especially in such a short time. When they raised minimum wage to 10.50, what they did was give employees an unfair advantage, because what employers did was cut their hours. So if
Yes.
I had 5 days of work a week, I now went to 3 days or 2 days. So now I have to work multiple jobs or even work longer hours just to make the same that I was
Mhm.
making. So with that, you will find people are struggling to go to the supermarket. They're struggling to deal with their bills. Instead of living to enjoy life, you're living to survive, not even living to pay bills, because most bills
Mhm.
are going in arrears now. They're getting cut off. I don't know if the government has realized as yet, but if you look walking through my neighborhood, a lot
Yes.
of people don't have electricity. A lot of people don't have water, because once they're cut off, the process to getting them back on is very difficult. So you may see people having extension cords connected from one house to one
In
house.
Barbados,
Yes, in
I
Barbados,
remember.
that is
I
what.
remember that in Jamaica. I didn't realize that that is happening right now.
Mhm,
That they're
that
they're
is
they're
why
connecting they're connecting house to house to get electricity.
that is why during COVID it didn't make the most sense to do online learning in that manner, because they did not consider that people didn't have electricity, they didn't have internet. And now fast forward to 2025, it is a lot worse. Things have increased drastically. And something as simple as saltfish. Saltfish has gone up by at least $8 in the supermarket. Mixed meat has gone up by at least $8 in the supermarket. With all of the added increases and less work, what do they think will happen?
Mm.
People are either going to leave Barbados, or they're going to have to come up with creative ways to find jobs. But if you say we have an influx of 500 people, they all are willing to work for less than minimum wage, because nobody who's really going to check to see if they're paying them minimum wage,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
technically at this time they're not Barbadian citizens, so they're
Mhm.
not required to pay them that 10.50 per hour. So if they're willing to work for 6.50 or $7 per hour, which is way beyond the standard, below the standard, what will happen to the Barbadian workers, or the persons who are able to work in Barbados at 10.50 an hour? What will happen to them?
Are young people anxious?
I think young people are frustrated. It feels like, you know, the saying they say horn drums beat first.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like this government has forgotten that they need to beat some drums here first. Yes, it may seem like a great opportunity. Might be a better opportunity is if travel throughout the Caribbean was cheaper. That would be great.
Mm.
Things
Mm.
that people actually need, so you don't have to pay $1,200 to go from island to island. Or maybe the promise ferry system that they promised us for decades to restart, something like that would be beneficial. But when you bring something as the opportunity to go from one country to another country, where the countries that Barbadians can go to, the pay is less. And for Barbadians, it's so hard to get a job now.
Yeah.
I could tell you, Don, how easy it is for a young person to get a job, or even a person who is not young. It is not easy. I have people in my constituency telling me that they do not know what to do when they apply for jobs. They submit to multiple places. They don't
Mm-hmm.
get any responses. They don't know what they did wrong, but they didn't get the opportunity for interview
Opportunity.
to get
But
called
yeah,
back.
you know, boy, but that Don, is the immigration bill, because these bills are coming at us so fast. In fact, I find that in this time, Don, I'm learning so much more about the law than ever before in my life. I know you come from a family with lawyers, but for me, I'm learning bills after bills that I have to sit down and figure out. Well, we have the citizenship bill, which is connected. They're doing it together, right? And in that bill, I want to switch over to that, Don. It says that the citizenship bill 2025 will repeal the old law and drastically lowers the bar for citizenship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Means that CARICOM nationals can come to become citizens after just 6 months within the preceding years, down, and that's down from 5 years. I want to know from the young people. Is this something you stop and think about? How easy it is now for people to become citizens, of Barbados? Does that matter to you?
I mean, if that is so, that if somebody from one of these other three countries and in time anywhere else can just come in and literally 6 months later apply for citizenship, and that's concerning, because it really, what's the point of us being born here in the first place? What's the point in us? What's the point in any of it? And it's really just a tactic, similarly to how Donald Trump used to complain that the Democrats were doing it in America, letting in all the people from South America. Because whoever you migrate to a country under and get citizenship under, you're definitely going to vote for that political party. So if this political party is allowing a huge influx of CARICOM citizens, and all these people become citizens, they're definitely going to vote BLP. It's like importing voters. If you don't have enough voters, just simply import more. So that is a big problem. And it's definitely something that should be talked about more and looked into.
But Don speaks about it, SHAQUANI, from a political standpoint, where people might be brought in to increase the voters list. But what, as a Barbadian? So that's that point. But I want to know: do you think about this as a Barbadian, that the pathway to citizenship has been made this easy? In fact, it appears that it's the easiest pathway to citizenship in the entire Caribbean. What are your thoughts about that as a Barbadian citizen, born here, neighbor string cut here?
I think that this is going to be a mistake because we need to remember that Barbados has one of the strongest passports in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one of the strongest passports in the world for a reason. If people are allowed to become citizens so quickly, also making them eligible to get a Barbadian passport, what would that do for our passport and its currency internationally? Because I don't think that they consider that, because it can possibly weaken our passport, and that means that when we travel to different countries, we may have to get more visas to go to certain places just because of it. Because they're going to say, well, if you can go there within 6 months and become a citizen, you're basically letting anybody. And I know it may seem bad, like it sounds bad, but the reality is that You can't just walk into the US and become a citizen. You can't do it in Canada. You can't do it in a lot of places in the world for a reason. You can't do it in the
Yeah.
UK. While persons are tightening their borders and tightening the requirements to become citizens, Barbados is becoming more relaxed. The reason I know Barbados does have a lot of crime, but we have a lot of different crime compared to overseas. They have bombings. You can imagine if, because we allow persons to become citizens so quickly, we potentially taking persons who are interested in committing crimes like that before doing
Yeah.
due diligence.
Yeah, but we have only, believe it or not, the time is flown. We only have 4 minutes. But Don, I want to ask. So what are you what is the youth preparing to do about this? You sat here, I mean, quite eloquently, both of you, and really looked at the bill, and we wonder if those in cabinet, if they did any of this that we're even doing here in 20 30 minutes. But what are the young people to do? What if young people are listening to you? Can anything even be done?
No, there's nothing much you can do, Marcia.
But it's gone to
We
the joint select committee apparently.
That doesn't mean anything. It's still passed as it stands. Just like many of this administration's bills, as you mentioned, like there's all this new legislation. This is not normal for government to keep introducing so much new legislation all the time. We've seen it in the past. You will get a new bill here and there, but
Yeah.
each week it seems government are trying to make
What
an
what
amendment to
what,
a
what is the
current
youth
bill.
doing about it? What
They're
is young people? Are you just going to say, well, you can't do anything about it? Is that the
Mhm.
response?
Well, you see the young people, Marcia, they feel very helpless in this situation. And young people
Mm,
would look at this, and one of the worst responses, which I hear a lot, when you hear about people complaining about politics, is that, oh, well, I definitely not voting in this next election because all these people just doing the same thing.
so
And
that's what they say.
when I hear about people complaining about politics, Marcia, it should be motivation more so than anything else to vote, so that to make sure that the people that are doing this can be held accountable. Whether you would like change or you want to remain the same, you voting is the only way for you to make your voice heard. You might not feel that your one vote counts a lot, but I really think young people need to take it more seriously. Elections coming up in the next couple of months, and there's definitely a way for us to hold this government accountable. Because this government feels that they can just do anything. They literally just come up and say anything in parliament, and if there are no protests, if there's no big outcry, if there are no petitions, then they just pass all the legislation that they want to pass. So
Yeah.
we really need to come out. We really need to educate the public on why elections and voting is so important. Because I feel like the young people are very disillusioned from the process. Young people could care less. The average voter in this country is probably 50 plus, and it's been that way for a long time. And it's about time that we change it. We have a lot of power as young people. We don't use it. And if we, the young people, were as enthusiastic as you were about marching and protesting, Marcia, this country would be a lot different place. I don't know if you want to look quickly for the protest they had in Nepal. They had Gen Z in Nepal. They burnt down the whole parliament building because the government had banned social media and there was so much corruption. In India as well as Kenya, lots of African countries, the Gen Z people are who are leading the protests.
Yes.
And Barbados are very docile. So it's going to be hard to wake up our Gen Z and really help them understand that their future is on the line. But it's something that people like SHAQUANI, myself, and others are really trying to do.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh boy, I tell you, I mean, I'm listening to you, and it feels. I know that feeling, and you hear it, and that's the truth. You hear it, and I thank you for being honest about it. Shakwani, what this is the pictures of Nepal here, and I don't see anybody like myself out there. Down trying to say I was from the 1940s.
No, nobody's done.
I know, I like to bother you, but these are kids, and they are out there. The question is, What are young people supposed to do? What do young people do concerning the Shaquani?
The
Quickly,
problem
we
is
only have we have no minutes, but go
the
ahead
problem
quickly.
is the cause. In Nepal, as Don would have said, they strike because it was social media. Every single young person all around the world, they all live on their phone. They do not see currently in Barbados, they do not see the issue with this bill, unfortunately, because to them it isn't important. I remember think about the tent, how so many Barbadians were frustrated and they wanted to march and they wanted to yell, and because that affected them directly. They don't understand how the citizenship bill will impact them, how all these persons coming to Barbados will impact them.
So they're not
So
educated.
no, you need to break it down like how we would break it down. The more people from the outside come in, willing to work for less, you don't have a job anymore. And
But I would say you guys need, you have social media.
yeah,
Don has social media. Why not use that and educate if education is the issue? Because when we're gone, it will be your Barbados unless you're going to go to Europe and the USA and all of that and leave the country. You know, thing. But we're going to pick this up again another time, guys. Thank you all for coming in. It's always a pleasure having you. Very enlightening. Thank you so much, Don. Thank you, Shaquani. God bless. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully next week. All right. God bless.
bye
Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much. Good night.
Yes. Yes. Bye bye. Oh my goodness, that's our young people, and they are giving their view, their version, and we really have to, whenever we see them, try to encourage them and try to get them motivated somehow. They need to be connected to what is happening in this country. Well, we're going from young to young. All right. We had Victor Young at 87. Then we had Don and Shaquani, and now we have Mr. GLYNE Murray. And I am, you know what? He's a proud 82-year-old. I think it's not 81, 82-year-old man, and who is sharp as a tack. And so we are very, very happy. We are blessed to have Mr. GLYNE Murray with us this evening. Good evening, sir. You're muted. You're muted, sir. Okay. You're okay. Your camera is now off and your microphone is off. So guys, while Mr. Murray gets his technicals right, while he works on getting his technical right, folks, we ask you to like and to share. Tonight we are going somewhere with this discussion. Once again, we are inviting you all to come on out on Saturday the 11th at 10 a.m. We are going to start at Kensington Oval, right there in front of MARCIA Car Park. And we walk to Independence Square. We march and we sing and we chant and we stand up. We defend our country. We defend Barbados. Okay. So we are asking you kindly to come on out on. You know what? I don't even need to be begging anybody to come out to this. To be honest with you, you know, this is too important. This is too important. I see Mr. Murray is ready again.
Right.
Good night, Mr. Murray.
Good night, and thanks for having me. Good to be in your company once more. I look forward to an interesting late evening, night, whatever. Just before I get into my particular subject matter, Dawn made a comment about when you were talking about the bill going to select committee, and he said that means nothing has already been passed. But select committees means that it's under further consideration. So it's not yet it's not yet legislation. It might be passed at one stage, but once it goes joint select committee, it means that there's further consideration being given it, and then we'll have to go to another process before it's passed for and assented by the president. So it's not a done deal yet, even though it might be in joint select committee. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we are tonight. You're talking about Barbadians being disrespected and insulted by the address of the PM, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's. Let me start from the time the Prime Minister came on camera for her address on the 30th of September. I felt, to me, she was already disrespecting Barbadians, because there was nothing about her on her attire that said Barbados. There was no pin, there was no Barbados flag, and the flag, the Barbados flag on the corner background, that does not count for personal attire, right? That's official. There was a sign of, I don't know if you look at it closely, there was a sign of a golden trident, but the official colors of the trident is black. Gold, a black trident, gold and ultramarine and gold. So, but there was again the United Nations pin that represents development goals or something like that. So again, I felt that once again the Prime Minister has not found it fit. I would love to, like I said before, I love to explain why she does not wear any Barbadian insignia on her body when she represents Barbados. I think you're addressing the nation in the same way you can have the flag in the background. You could wear one on your chest at the head of the country, particularly when you're dealing with a subject that is really getting at the heart and soul of Barbados as a country. So I think from that respect, I thought that she already started off on the wrong foot. That's disrespectful. And then when the next one was when she started in her presentation, I felt that given the nature of the bill the measures she was dealing with, she dealing with next day the limited free movement of persons between the four countries was to take place. So she was doing this within hours of when this measure was supposed to be enacted and become functional and operational. And I've been talking to several people. And nobody can remember ever in the history of Barbados where a government for Methodist introduced a measure, said it would become, it was operational, but that the law would then, the legislation attached would then have to go to Parliament to be laid tomorrow, right? And then for a future discussion. It really is the most absurd. It does not make sense, even the process. And process always matter. Function and process always matter. So I thought that the first thing that the Prime Minister should have done, if she want to take people that are confident and get them to understand why she did this, would be to explain why it is coming like this, in this ramshackle, disjointed, irrational, unstructured fashion, where something become operational, presumably in the law, as they're saying, but you then have to pass. I understand the Attorney General is saying that what has happened has fallen within the ambit of the existing laws. But if that is so, why do you have to create another law starting from, why is another law? Why is separate legislation going to the House tomorrow too? So it really is not adding up. And I felt that the Prime Minister owed it to the country to explain to the country why, for something that she said is going to change Barbados and both the region and our country, probably forever. This is a landmark event, historic event. Why weren't we given some context as to why there was no prior education, information? All we'd heard, if you remember, with the last head of the government conference in Jamaica, when she was given up the chairmanship of CARICOM, passed this on to Prime Minister Holness of Jamaica. He is the one who announced that this thing was to come into force, right? He announced it, not the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister could have either announced it, or she could have had a joint press conference with him and dealt with that. Out of due respect again for the Barbadians, it really was infidel that the Prime Minister had to announce this on Barbados' behalf. And from then, I don't think the process has recovered. But then to come, all this time has intervened since July. And now the day before, you bring this thing to Parliament and saying it goes into effect from tomorrow. Everything is fine and dandy. But then on Tuesday, we're going to bring the legislation to begin the process to be discussed. It cannot be passed in the House because it will be late. Then it had to be read the first day, there has to be a second day, the debate, and then we'll have to go to Senate. So it's a long time. How could this thing then operate? This is not, Barbados at one time was regarded, and this going back, even when we were a colony, we had Parliament since 1639, Marcia. 1639. We had an organized Parliament even before the United States had. So there's right, and we have the third oldest Parliament in the Commonwealth. I think the second in the hemisphere, the third oldest in the Commonwealth. So we have a long established tradition of parliamentary government and governance. We at one time were regarded as the best managed Black country in the world. We always had certain standards. So, and we've had exemplary legislative procedure. What happened then? Like I said, nobody can find me a precedent in Barbados or in the Caribbean where this happened. So it's an amazing situation. And in that regard, I think that the Prime Minister owes Barbados, still owes Barbados a lot of explaining to do. And then when she got into the meat of the matter, she didn't apologize at the beginning. And for her, and during that 32 minutes plus second speech, she never once hinted of any apology, any regret. It was just another walk in the park or just another day before the cameras when this momentous event was about to take place in such a disorganized, disjointed, and unsatisfactory fashion. And therefore, I think the process was wrong, and the content. I felt she should have spent the first part of her speech explaining as to why it had to be done this way. Maybe she might have had to fall back on the fact that even if she had said that I couldn't do it before, I was forced through my many commitments and travels abroad, which we are aware of and which we could appreciate. I would not have had time, but to come as though nothing has happened. I thought I gave, like I said, it's something it has to be explained. We should not take this in our stride as just another day for the government. And the part about so that's disrespect. But the insulting part that you found most outstanding was when the Prime Minister made the comment in trying to explain how the system will work and that people would not have any fears. She made this comment about when we were talking about jobs and people not be able to get with the possibility people not be able to get work. She made this comment about the economy is not like a part of food. I felt that was very inappropriate language for dealing with such an important. I felt the Prime Minister could have had other analogies, metaphors to make the point. Why did you have to resort to food? If you can play that out.
I'm hoping it's the right one. We do have your two clips, so let's hope it's the right one. Go right ahead, Dave.
I will say this as plainly as I can. An economy is not a pot of food that if you give someone else a plate, that does not mean that somebody else will go hungry. It doesn't work that way. Those who push that narrative are alarmists.
Alarmists. Yeah. Interesting language. And later on in the speech, the Prime Minister made reference to the fact that information calms the spirit. Information calms the spirit. But the alarmists the people whom she is calling alarmists, were simply people who are voicing their concern, wanting information. And here is the Prime Minister later in the speech saying, information calms the spirit. But as a practitioner, On this march, he never gave people prior information to calm their spirits, to assuage their anxieties, their concerns, because there was no information. And it made me wonder what all this transformation in her thinking. It's like,
Mr.
remember
Murray, I wanted to ask you a quick question. I hope it doesn't change move you from your train of thought. But what about the pot of food is insulting to you?
right? Yes, I was coming back to that. The
Oh,
pot
I'm
of
sorry.
food was coming back to is that because I felt that when I heard that, it brought back memories of it's a patronizing term to equate a person's value with food, especially in the context of Barbados and my experience, and also in the she is the granddaughter of Mr. Ernest Daitamani, whose tenure in the city as mayor, etc., city of Bridgetown in the local government was tied to food, more at least food in Queen's Park. So and it was not done. It was not a dignified situation where people went together to get basically free food. People to pick up that triggered my memories. Why could you say an economy is not like a credit union? It's not like a bank where you can draw off your account, draw off your money. It's not like shares. Why did you have to go to food? I felt it was demeaning and unworthy of the prime. I think she could have found another way of making the connection, making the point, rather than doing that way. And I don't think I'm still very comfortable with it, even in that regard. But I was making the point too about that the prime minister spoke. She spoke about being alarmist. Then she switched. Then not having wittingly or already contributed quote unquote the alarmist or the alarming atmosphere. But at the same time, she did not give any justification for bringing the act so quickly. Why now? Why could it not wait a few more months? Why? I mean, she tried to justify that it's a major step in the advancement of the freedom of the whole CARICOM process and experience. In a way, it is, but first, CARICOM is made up of there's no supranational government in CARICOM. CARICOM is made up of individuals who collaborate and cooperate, etc. So, first thing must also be given to your domestic, your home government. They said a country never has permanent friends nor permanent enemies, only permanent self-interest. Why was it this time? How is Barbados going to benefit from it in the way which is done? I think the whole process fell down that way also. And the Prime Minister also was, to my mind, deficient in not giving a Caribbean context. Was the process undertaken in Barbados the same as was being done in the other countries? Now we're hearing other voices saying that the process is illegal, right? If it is illegal, how then how it's going to have implications? Or if it's illegal for Barbados, if the others were done the same, or they have not heard any announcement, that's how they went about. I saw there was a lot of song and dance in St. Vincent, Belize, even in Barbados, when the first travelers arrived in these countries, pictures taken and whatnot, only to find out that the process could very well be invalidated. But you wanted the PR to do it, right? And I felt too that the Prime Minister did not. I am still convinced that the Prime Minister spoke about her predecessors as leaders of Barbados in the whole federal and CARICOM process and experience. Who did what? Dating back to 1947 in Montego Bay, conference. I heard about that for early days. But she talked about the role of Grantley Adams and the Federation. She spoke of Mr. Albar and Carifta and CARICOM. She spoke about Mr. Sadiford and his role. She spoke of Mr. Wayne Arthur and his role with the CSME, etc. So therefore, it seems to me, and she said that in her speech, that that the future generation will be impressed and motivated and by this act. She didn't say why. She thought so, but I think the Prime Minister wanted to do it to put her name in the history book as to join those other more illustrious Barbadian prime ministers who've done something for CARICOM. But this one is not one of substance. The country has been ill prepared. It was almost like doing the Republic all over again. Half done, partially done, still not done. And these processes, these junctions, these steps that we are taking, which are supposed to be so important, and so should all be carefully thought out and done that people can support them, understand them, appreciate them. The alarmists, the events of the words of the last few days of the review. I'm not even talking about the citizenship legislation. I'm just talking about the freedom of movement non-legislation that has thrown up other anxieties and concerns, which is going to create for her even greater alarm. As to the citizenship and what I'm hearing about almost giving away of citizenship, I then fully understood. I fully understood the impact of giving away the land and the affects and buying. I just understand the mentality. If you can give away such a sizable land, your country's part with no reward to the country, no bet, you give it away free by stealth in the back, no public debate. You never discussed with the public as to why you were taking it. Right. Therefore, it was no surprise then that you can do with quite a land will always be there in one form, and that is a patch that will never just a passport. A land symbolizes the heart and soul and the being of a country.
Yes.
That's why you're having what's going on in the Middle East, because of their land. Every person's birthplace and land is important. It has an exceptional factor in their psyche that you do not get away from. So to see the Barbados passport respected, renowned, highly regarded for such a long time, seemingly going in the direction of being willy-nilly, 6 months could get a passport, a lot of experience to do. Even to think about that alone, I find nauseating. How could you, as a Barbadian, proud, proud your country, leading your country, how could you not see the implications? That it shouldn't be done, and it should not have been done that way. So I think we have a long way to go. I think this is gonna make a lot of changes in the Barbadian outlook on government, on politics, on the future, and I think we have a lot of implications to wait. We cannot say yet how far it will go and what impact will be. I think I heard the Prime Minister say too, in announcing this grand move that started, started 1st of October, that GIS would soon be launching a full education program. So after as an effect, then you're going to launch a full education program. It's laughable. It is laughable. But you keep doing it the wrong way. How you cannot get people unless they know. Barbados is a highly educated society. We spent billions of dollars over years in education. Then to treat the people if they're not worthy, the only thing they can understand is a pot of food and a share of food. They can't understand information that will have a long-term impact on the quality of life, the future of their country, their great-grandchildren. So why do you do it and then some people don't come there? The money that they're going to spend now to get here, understand, should have been quietly, if it had been well organized, if it had been properly thought through, structured, because this thing was happening for months.
Right.
It's a simple education program. Now you understand it's going to start shortly. Still hasn't started yet. To explain this whole, you're in it, it's happening, but you don't know. You don't know the full implications. You don't know the procedures. People want to see, not just hear or go online. They want to get a document that they can peruse, understand, analyze in their own way, their own time, as to the various steps and stages to accommodate this new venture. Barbadians have never been, to my, I have no record, I have no experience, none of my readings that Barbadians have ever been hostile to outsiders as such. That's why we make such a wonderful tourism country. That's why we have one of the highest repeat rates in the region, around the world, because they're naturally hospitable. I've talked about it, people have, I work out at Barbados feels, most Barbadians feel that Barbados is such a wonderful place to be, that they understand why other people want to come here too and live here, because they understand the uniqueness, the specialty, like you talk about, of your birthplace. And we will not be hostile to anybody just because they are not from Barbados. But what we want, what we desire, what we require, what we demand is that be a structured, organized way that we know the pros and the cons. So far, we've only heard the pros of dealing, increasing, probably leading to increased population, filling certain jobs. We have not. There got to be cons. There got to be a cost and a benefit. What are the costs? It's commonplace to talk health matters, transportations, schools, housing, right? All those things should be planned for. Because if you are going to open your gate, the countries that I know who do manage immigration, they specify what caliber, what categories of person they're looking for, and encourage people in those categories to come. Well, it is different if you just come and you take anything because you have to live, you have to survive. But that opens for exploitation or offers for tracking. All kind of social dangers are triggered by that when it happens. And therefore, I think that the Prime Minister has done the country and herself a part of a great disservice by handling this madness. Much more should have been. The country should have been. We are the people who would have to entertain, intermix, deal with the person's class. We should have been. We should have been involved in the process. Like you see, remember, see how we were involved or made to be involved through great publicity for CARICOM?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what's wrong? Why not do the same thing for Barbados' future too, and this free movement bill? I think then that we have a long way to go, and we have not seen the last of it yet. And I'll always remember this for September. The other time I remember September is that Hurricane Jeanette in 1955. Now I remember I remember September the 30th. That marked the end of one structured, organized system that we knew to open the gates to a system not probably established, explained, or understood, probably not even by people among in the government themselves.
Yeah. Wow. A really, really interesting segment. I don't know if you realize, but you have one more video. And I did, I took, I think, 3 minutes of your time. So do you want the other video played for that 3 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure,
yeah, because I have Mr. Strickland waiting. Go ahead, Dave. Dave, the second video. Thank you so much. And Mr. Strickland is coming tonight. And he's going to discuss the impact of free movement on NIS and the pension scheme. And then afterwards, just before your calls, we're going to have a little discussion with Mr. Murray and Mr. Strickland, and probably Mr. Babb will come on, where we're talking about the Bar Association versus the Attorney General and Ralph Thorne. We're going to look at what they're all saying just a few minutes before the call starts to come in. But go ahead, Dave. We can play. Are we ready? Are we ready?
This is the one.
Barbadians information calms the spirit. Barbadians information calms the spirit. I repeat myself. Information calms the spirit.
There's a phrase in Shakespeare, I think it was Hamlet, when he accused he said somebody was describing a person having been hoisted by their own petard, hoist thrown in the air, petard being that the term then for a bomb. So when you hoist by your own petard, you get blown up by your own bomb. So when I heard the Prime Minister saying that information calms the spirit, given the paucity, the deliberate decision not to give information to the public, I remind me of the Barbadians. The Barbadians Shakespeare had this very elegant phrase about being hoisted by your own petard. Barbadians would say, you spit up in the air and it fall back in your face because you have not been provided that information to calm the spirits. And the way it might be a buzzword, it might be even a new philosophy, something you gather from abroad. But it does not represent. One last thing before we talk about that speech. That speech did not connect with what's happening in Barbados today. When we listen to it, it gave you no sense of the issues that were the matters surrounding that free movement. To me, that I have a feeling that was AI generated or influenced because it doesn't fit in. You start off by then you come at the end you give people information what is and what not, what will be or what not. But you know there was no data. You heard some dates. You heard how well the skills program, skills system work. What were the numbers? What were the stats? What were the figures? No data was given, just words. And to me, that's very deficient. But one of the reasons I think too is that it probably it lacked soul, the structure, the tone. Anyhow, and I say that because I know the Prime Minister, and those who know the Prime Minister have been in her company often. Know she likes to have the latest technical gadget or involving the latest technique. So therefore, my judgment, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the way that thing was put together, how it starts off, before any acknowledgement of duty Barbie, just how by presenting thing, and then to me, that is not that it have the Barbados feel and soul and spirit that I've been accustomed to.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Moran. If you can stick around,
okay.
We are going to take the next half hour, and we have the able Mr. Strickland on the whole issue of NIS and pension scheme, and so he is going to be talking to us this evening on the impact of this free movement on NIS and the pension scheme. Welcome, Mr. Strickland. Go right ahead.
Good night, MARCIA, GLYNE, the loyal opposition. It's good to be back.
Yes, to have you.
To bring context to this matter, it is more than just free movement. Free movement further complicates the situation for national insurance. Now, from the time we had the 8% pay cut many years ago, there was a lot of downsizing and merging, whereby a number of companies subcontracted their work out, and therefore the self-employed role at national insurance increased. And therefore, over the years, it has increased.
Mm.
But I always remember on the platform of the Mrs. Thorne, who is over the Barbados Workers Union, when she was campaigning, the Prime Minister would have indicated that they were going to bring on some home help workers, home care workers, and they're going to pay them a stipend. Now, my understanding of a stipend is bus fare and lunch. But you were going to be paying these persons basically a salary to make them self-employed. During the period of the ASH program and thereafterwards, government sought to bring workers on and again determined, I said government brought them on and determined that they would be self-employed. Now, national insurance holds the right to determine who is self-employed from who is employed. And there are some basic tenets which are used to determine whether a person is employed or self-employed. That being, if the person has control over their hours of work, whether the tools are theirs, and whether the person is entitled, as it were, to vacation. There are other factors, but those are three of the main ones. But I said national insurance as a department, as an institution, holds the right to determine, and not government, not the Prime Minister has the right to. But
can you repeat for me it's the tools and go over the three things?
Yeah. In other words, if the building, in other words, if you're going into someone's building and the tools that you are using do not belong to you, they belong to an individual. If you have to say, if you are told what time to go to lunch, come to work, what time you have to leave, what time your break is, and whatever else, and if you're entitled to vacation, then you cannot be self-employed. And therefore, government has sought and still continues to have persons employed with fancy language, contract of service, and so forth. But it meant that with government, with persons now being subcontracted as self-employed persons, it means that for those who are coming into the island, now, well, if you have a contract to provide a service to government, national insurance, part of the contract is that you pay contributions. You must pay contributions to get a contract to provide a service to government. We're not talking about a contract to do work, as it were. Yes, work, but a service also. It means that these persons who are coming in, they would hardly be employed by government. They would either be employed by a private entity or they will be self-employed. And therefore, these are some figures that will produce some interesting findings. Now, if a person is employed by someone, then it means if that person's salary is, say, $400 per week, then it means that the employee pays 11.25%, and therefore a total of 24.25% is paid by the employer. So you're looking at something like $97 per week that national insurance receives if the person is employed by an employer, $97 per week. Now, if that person chooses, because national insurance does not determine what earnings a person uses, as it were, to pay contributions on. So if that same individual is self-employed and chooses to pay contributions on the $400, national insurance is receiving $69 in contribution. So it's a difference between 69 and 97 per week. Okay, but this is where it gets very interesting. Now, from 2024, self-employed persons are expected to pay contributions on a minimum of $1,200 per year. $1,200 per year. Now, when you take $1,200 per year and you calculate the earnings that the individual is paying contributions on, is only $134 per week. Only $134 per week. That's the earnings that's going to be used for the purpose of that person receiving a benefit or a pension. So you're looking at a situation where the fund is receiving tremendously less by persons being made contract workers, and there's a tremendous amount of contract work being offered in Barbados by employers, by entities, we put as entities, and national insurance has not been able to be given the powers to ensure that whether these persons are employed or self-employed. And again, because the person determines now what he or she pays contributions on, and they're told that you must pay on $1,200 contributions per year, which works with $134 per week in earnings, and national users earnings for the purpose of payments, not contributions. You are seeing where we're going to have a lot of people in Barbados, once they've put in at least 15 years earnings, they're going to be getting the minimum contributory pension. The minimum contributory pension. They're not going to recognize that this $1,200 in contributions is not working out to say $400 per week in earnings, which should be used for the purpose of their pension. So as I speak, there are many persons who normally expect a reasonable pension are already getting the minimum contributory pension, which at present is $254 per week. So therefore, let's look at then if the individual who is working for $400 a week by 52, that is something like $20,800. $20,800. If they're employed, and national insurance will be receiving anything like $3,588 in contributions.
Right.
But if that person now only pays on the $134 rather than the $400 which that they're working for, they only getting $1,200. That's only getting $1,200.
Hold a minute. So $3,000 versus $1,200.
$1,200, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So already prior to, as it were, free movement, the national insurance scheme is taking in a lot less than is expected. Now, the 2022 actuarial report would have indicated that 1 out of 8 self-employed people in Barbados are actually paying contributions. 1 out of 8. So national insurance recognizing that they have to go after self-employed people, that legislation was passed in 2024, but only just recently, I think it's about 2 weeks ago, national insurance established a self-employed section, which is proof that they recognize that there's a shortfall in respect of the contributions coming into national insurance. Now, there are no audited reports for there are no audited reports for national insurance finances since I think 2014.
Oh my.
None. Yes, the reports have been sent up to be audited up, I think, 2024, based on what I would have received. So therefore, there are no actual figures that you can use
Mhm.
to show the tremendous shortfall that national insurance is receiving. But the department is aware that on their balance sheet, there's a tremendous shortfall. And therefore, for the Prime Minister to say that for persons coming in, the scheme will be bolstered by those persons is far from the truth. It is far from the truth. Because I said from the beginning, those persons are not going to be employed by government, whereby they're going to be paid a fixed salary and be paying contributions at the rate whereby national insurance is collecting 24.25%. It's going to be up to those individuals, either as several people, to determine how much they're going to pay, and you can be guaranteed they're going to pay maybe on the minimum, or they just want to fulfill their obligations that they are paying contributions. Now, if they are working with entities, and as was shared earlier, I think in your program tonight, there can be those that can be taken advantage of by some employers in Barbados, whereby the minimum wage in their country is half what it is in Barbados.
Right.
So even though they are being exploited, they are still better off than in their country that they came from. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, they're going to displace maybe Barbadians. They may very well be displacing Barbadians. But the other factor that I find is going to be very interesting also is that if a person is employed, then you do not pay income tax on earnings of $25,000 or less. So as much as they're saying that BRA will benefit, they're not going to be treated different. They're going to be treated as persons in Barbados working, and therefore an income of less than $25,000 per year will not attract income tax. And therefore, there are a tremendous amount of persons who, by virtue of the fact they do not earn more than $25,000 in Barbados, I'm speaking of Barbadians, they are entitled to the 1,300. Yes, they're entitled to the 1,300. So for these persons that are coming in, once they are here and they are given the kind of residency that are being given, the question is, will they be entitled to the 1,300 too?
Wow.
So
That's a big question there. Oh my goodness, Mr. Strickland. That 1,300, that is what you what is it called? It's a benefit. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, because it is paid to individuals who have worked for less than $1,300, $25,000 within a year.
Within a year, they get.
Okay, I can't remember if it's but it's for a particular category of individuals. You want what I'm saying? And therefore, they're going to be entitled to this money also.
Tax credit.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for, Carol. Tax credit.
Right. The tax credit. So you're looking at situation one, they'll be entitled to tax credit. Two, they can be choosing to pay contributions at the minimum to make sure they're entitled to a pension down the road. But what is the cost to Barbados? What is the cost to Barbados? Their children will be entitled to free education.
Hold a minute. You go. This is so important, and you're going a bit fast, right? So hold a minute now, because this is very important here. I'm writing. So you're saying that if they were to come to Barbados, and given if they have all the status that they're supposed to have, then they are and they work $25,000 and less. The big question is, are they entitled to the tax credit of $1,300?
Okay.
Will they be paying into the NIS? Because then it becomes, if they are subcontracted, then it becomes optional, is what you're saying, right?
Precisely.
So they might
only where the person is working for government on a contractual basis that they will will demand that the person pay contributions. But if the person is working with an entity, then they may not be concerned whether the person pay contributions or not, or if the person is self-employed.
Wow. So that means this is going to, instead of it enhancing the NIS and pension scheme, if we continue to hire contract workers, and these who are coming in the free movement, they come in and we continue the trend of hiring contract workers. What you're saying is that there's a big chance that they might not pay into the NIS, and that the ideal that the NIS would be enhanced, might not be. And furthermore, I have here in my notes, and I'm repeating it so that for the others, that we might not get any taxes from them if they work for 25,000 or less. In fact, we might have to give them a tax credit. I just, it's not what you're saying. Okay.
Precisely.
Continue.
Okay. Now, and that because a non-contributory pension is not an automatic right if you're a citizen of Barbados. Because if you were deemed to have been self-employed during your working life and did not pay contributions, then you're not entitled to a non-contributory pension. So, but we're looking now at a situation where you're looking at those persons who will know that they can pay at the minimum for 15 years to have the 750 contributions necessary to get a contributory pension. Now remember, they've paid in $1,200 a year in contributions. But if you multiply 254 by 52, I don't have the calculation, but that could come to almost 13,000.
I work it out. Keep going.
Right. You're looking at the amount now that an individual is drawing from the national insurance scheme in pensions per year at the minimum. But yet they're paying in $1,200 per year in contributions.
Wow.
And it's a massive disparity. Massive.
Okay, I'm going to pause you again, and I'll give you back your time. But I think it's important because I don't want us to miss these things. You're saying that 254 would be what people would be receiving in pensions, right?
Correct.
Times 52 weeks in the year, so that's 13,208.
Thank you very much.
However, you're saying the minimum that those who are contract workers or self-employed would pay is $1,200 per year.
Precisely. So they may only pay $1,200. They may only pay $1,200.
There's a huge gap there, Mr. Strickland. So
yes.
What's going to happen to so even without the people coming in from the free movement, the fund seem like it would be in trouble, and then you're bringing in these other people to be able to pull from it. Oh my goodness, this is.
I don't want to add the fact that $1.3 billion was written off, because that is part. We must always hold that in the whole scheme of things, because that is what has helped tremendously to put national insurance scheme in the position it's in at present, and not recognizing the slide that existed from when we had the 8% pay cut. I must always go back there, because it wasn't just about government cutting this person's salary. It was a financial crisis whereby companies in Barbados merged and there was downsizing. For instance, Mutual and Life of Barbados became Sagicor. But there was a lot of downsizing whereby two companies now subcontracting the accounting work, the audit work. We had a proliferation of gardening firms rather than landscape firms rather than gardeners. We had a proliferation of cleaning firms rather than hiring a maid. We had a proliferation of courier services rather than messengers. This is what has happened, and national insurance and government over the years did not recognize that we were moving a lot from employment to self-employment. legitimate, legitimate. But then we found that person started with governments lead subcontracting persons, making persons contract workers, when the truth and the fact, they should not be contract workers. Those persons are employed by government because they control those aspects of that person's work, and therefore the private sector has always followed the lead of government, and they have followed it, and they have followed to the T. We're not even bringing the fact that so many contracts now in Barbados have gone and are going to companies whereby the Contractors and Builders Association of Barbados have spoken on 3 occasions. The most recent one, I think last week, where they said that they're not getting any work because a lot of the work is being done now by Perconco, big slab work. You have the Chinese here who have taken over a lot of the contracts and so forth. So the artisans in Barbados are not getting a lot of the work. You want to say if they are doing maybe the foundation work and that's all. You want to say so this subcontract work is work in relation to contracts and so forth is damaging the national insurance scheme every day, because many of them are not paying either contributions or they're paying at the minimum to guarantee that they're covered for pensions, not even benefits. Because if you have a benefit and it's calculated on $134 per week, which is the $1,200 per year, you're not getting very much in benefits. Maybe $7, $8, $20, out of that when you take out the first thing. But persons are more concerned about pensions, so they're working towards making sure they have the required amount of earnings for pensions. So you're paying it $1,200, and then you can get $13,000 a year.
Wow, this is mind blowing, really. You still have a couple of minutes there. If there's anything else you want to add, you want to review. If you want to review the salient points, I see Mr. ALWYN Bob is coming in, and Mr. Murray, I know is ready to go. But I want to make sure that you just go over, because we're dealing with numbers. You have to do this session again with some slides, because I like that, because it's numbers. But go ahead, sir. Repeat the salient points. What are the things we want to remember?
I'm going to repeat the salient points, but there's a point I want to raise tonight, because every day I'm coming across public workers who are in receipt of a pension from the Treasury, who do not recognize that they have to apply for their pension at national insurance themselves. So they're having the unpleasant surprise when they reach pensionable age 67, where the Treasury take them off the Treasury roll. Then they don't have to apply at national insurance because they thought it was an automatic conversion, and then they're out of an income for almost 3 months. And therefore, I want persons that are out there who have friends and relatives who are public workers who are already retired, help them to know that about 4 months before they reach pensionable age, apply to national insurance. So by the time they reach pensionable age, they will be in receipt of their pension from national insurance. They should be. Okay, now, but let's go back to the salient points. Now, one, if a person is working with an employer, the employer is expected to pay contributions. And therefore, if the person is working for, say, $400 per week, national insurance is likely to be getting in at least $3,588 in contributions. Now, if that person is a contract worker for whatever reason, then the person, even though national insurance is the entity which determines whether a person is self-employed or not, but have not, and I repeat, have not stood its ground, it has allowed government to dictate to it who is self-employed from who isn't, then it means that those persons may not even have to pay any contributions, may not pay any contributions because they're working for a private entity, or they're just self-employed. And therefore, 1 out of 8 self-employed people in Barbados were actually paying contributions in 2022. That was the actual report. So it means that if those persons are now being told that they can pay $1,200 per year in contributions, which works out to $134 in earnings, compared that if they are working with someone, they're working for $400. The person may very well be working for more than $400 or is working for $400 as a self-employed person. They're going to only pay, they may very well only pay on $134 per week in earnings, which is the $1,200 in contributions per year. Okay, so National is receiving $1,200 as against they could have been receiving $3,588 per year in contributions. And this person now is going, once they pay 15 years in contributions, having paid in $1,200 per year in contributions, they're going to entitle to the $254 per week in pensions, which is the minimum contributory pension, which, as you indicated, is over $13,000 in pensions per year. And we have a very aging population, and we have a falling birth rate. So we have a lot less persons paying contributions, but we have an aging population. So therefore, it means that we are paying these pensions for a longer period of time, less contributions coming in because less persons are in the workforce, less persons are paying because they are self-employed. The National Fund is further being depleted slowly, and that's why I believe that they have set up the self-employed section to actively go after the other persons who are actually self-employed and not paying contributions. But I want those persons to know that even though you are a citizen of Barbados, a non-contributory pension is not an automatic right. So if you are self-employed and you choose not to pay contributions, when you reach pensionable age, all things being equal, you will not receive a pension in Barbados. So you will either have to depend on family members or welfare to survive, or continue working until you die. And that is what I would want to share with the listeners tonight, because national insurance is very much their lifeline, and they've got to put something in there in order to benefit.
And wow, this is really an eye-opener tonight. Mr. Murray, well, we welcome Mr. BABB here. And we literally have about 20 minutes to discuss this a little further. Plus, I want us to look at the Attorney General's response to Mr. Thorne and to the Bar Association, and because we want to open up the lines, the people to call in, the line for people to call in. Okay, so but let me hear Mr. Murray.
Right. I have one.
Quick comment. Yes.
I have one major question for Mr. Strickland. Where are the unions in all of this? It is like they've been neutered, like they've been stifled, like they've been choked. Where are the unions? There's been abandonment of the accustomed responsibility of government and the unions to look after the welfare of workers. A few months ago, the Minister of Labor said they did not have enough staff to run the inspectorate. So what is a lot of things that happen at the company level with the contracts for service or service? There's nobody on board to enforce the law. Apart from the fact that the government seems to have given up on that regard, that's why they themselves are having people on these so-called contracts. And the whole system is being devalued. The NAS scheme, I'm glad you raised, but I remember the 1.3 billion every day. You talked about you talk about they will not get, people will not get a national non-contributory pension. But don't forget, another version of the BLP might come into power by then and remember they gave the non-contributory pension what was a 45% increase, something like that, at the expense of the control that we have not yet recovered from. We were supposed to get an annual increase, we don't get it. So, but in order to win votes, they got a 45% increase, not having made any contribution at all. So wait, and the last thing is, what is the latest word on the recapitalization of the NIS fund that this government promised to do, that to pay back some of that, recover some of that $1.3 billion? It's a scandal. You don't know what is happening with NIS. You don't get any reports, like you said, audit report. You don't get any information from the board or the chairman. They don't announce, they don't involve, they don't engage. And that is the outer by itself. We do not know what's happening to it. And we might just be sitting on a time bomb, a social time bomb.
Yeah.
We are sitting on a time bomb.
Yes, go ahead.
And to the question of where the unions, in my personal opinion, too many of the union executives have been in bed with the government. And as a result, they're also fighting, I think, for survival. They're fighting for survival because, subscriptions, I believe, are down,
right?
And therefore, if they rock the boat too much, then they may find themselves losing. So that is my response to that matter. But as you rightfully said, a lot of things are not forthcoming from the national insurance. And now that the board has total control from the 1st of December 2023, you would have thought that more information was forthcoming. There's no more.
No more. Well, there's a question here by Adrian Humble, and then Mr. Bob, we will, if you have a comment or question, read the NIS and the free movement, please do so. But Angel Humble says, given the current fragile state of the NIS, what will be the likely effect on its finances on any increased burden by an influx of non-national under this free movement?
Okay, because less money is coming in. Yes, National Insurance Fund is $4 billion, and there is an investment section at National Insurance. So there's an active investment section. I'm not certain what areas of success, but you have a situation where they continue to seek local input, but after so many entities, including the credit union, lost so much money when certain decisions were made, less and less persons are investing in national insurance bonds and so forth. So it means that contributions, we cannot invest over and above a certain amount outside of Barbados. So contributions then is an integral part in respect of financing the national insurance. And again, because we have over 40,000 pensioners every month that we have to finance, and it means that we are maybe at another tipping point. We may be another tipping point because we had pension reform in 2006. We came back in 2022 and had it, and only God knows where we are for the next maybe 5 or so years.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Strickland. Mr. Bob, welcome to the Marcia Week Show. We're moving
Hi, good night to everyone.
Getting my manners.
Good night to everyone.
Good to see you, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So, any comments have you been listening to, Mr. Strickland, concerning the NIS and the free movement and the impact or no impact at all? What are your thoughts?
I think that the submission by Mr. Strickland as a relates to the contribution from those persons who are, say, self-employed, as opposed to what they needs to be repeated for persons to understand what can happen or may happen because of the free movement. He said something about $1,200 per year.
Per year.
Yes, please.
Yes, say that again.
Yeah, because and again, as I said, in January 2024, nationals would have indicated that self-employed person must pay a minimum of 1,200 contributions per year to get 52 weeks of contributions. Okay, but it means that when you convert that, it is working out to $134 per week in earnings. Okay, so that a person is going to pay, may very well pay the minimum on the minimum earnings of $134 in earnings, which translates to $1,200 per year in contributions. You want the same.
Yes.
While if this person was employed and is being paid a salary of say $400, you're looking at $3,588 in contributions, because self-employed is 17.25 by the seven. But there's only that one. The self-employed person paid that amount. With the employed person now, the employee pays 11.25, and the employer pay 13%. So there's a contribution of 24.25% as against 17.25. So that reflects then in the vast difference in what national is collecting from self-employed persons as against a person who are supposed to be employed by entities but are being allowed to allow those persons to be self-employed, even though they control a lot of the factors of that person's employment.
Interesting.
Marcia, can I just make a quick comment? I think it was instructive, very instructive, Mr. Strickland, that one of the very first things the new board did was to pay the staff increased salaries, sizes of which you might not know because of your connection. The country does not know how much they have paid themselves. They are lords and ladies unto themselves, paying this salary. They do not invent anything. They do not sell anything. They are living off of people's contributions. And for them, it is scandalous and it's disgraceful that they can pay themselves at a time when the fund is still struggling from the rape that was put on it by the 1.3 billion government's write-off.
Yes.
Right? The scandalous that, and there's been no word in the press, there's been an announcement. You do not get any word from the president of the Senate, is the chairman of the NAS. You don't hear picky teeth. You don't hear a word from him about NAS until you have this secret thing, and you only hear about. And I think it's disgraceful, and it is not good enough that such an important institution, which has been damaged by this government, should be allowed to probably get worse and worse until, like I said, someday the time bomb will explode. But it is not right. It is not fair to the society.
Yeah, it's not. Let me thank you. Let me hear from Mr. Bob before we
yes,
move
I wanted Mr. Strickland to make that point, because if I am, as an employer, is taking advantage of that free movement, and I want to make sure that those persons who are coming in to work for me and not the government, but I'm paying them a little less than the minimum wage, I would work with them to see how best I can get as much money, stay within the law, and still get as much money as I can based on what I'm being paid, which is less than the normal Barbadian. So you can see how that can be manipulated.
Yeah, most definitely. And in addition to that, as you're given this scenario, I'm also thinking that what they can also do, which a lot of people are doing, they are then calling them contract workers. And I think Mr. That is part of what's going on. Even the government, if you remember, Caswell used to say that even the government is calling them contract workers. So then basically they can come here and not pay into the system, not pay taxes. In fact, if they are below 25,000, we're being good students here, Mr. Strickland, you can correct us. If they're under 25,000, it could mean that we're asking the question, are they entitled to the tax credit? You see what I'm saying? So here it is that they might not pay any taxes. Those employers may decide to make them contract workers because it's better for them, for everybody, right? And but bad for the NIS, it's not enhancing the scheme. Are we good there, Mr. Strickland? Are we being good
Okay,
students?
if they are self-employed, they will not be entitled to the 1,300. But
Mhm.
if they take advantage of them, whereby, or even if once they work for less with an employer less than the 25,000, all things being equal, BRA would have to confirm this. They will be entitled to the 1,300. You want the same. So the employers know the law, and they know how they're gonna know how to manipulate the law
Yeah.
for so that the employees do not go to a government agency to report on them. You want the same thing, okay?
Yes.
Marcia, just a comment on the reverse tax credit.
Yes.
That was introduced by Prime Minister Arthur when he brought in VAT. He argued that people are below a certain level were paying VAT at the counter when they do transactions, and that while they were not enough to get any bet, they should therefore get a benefit from that tax they've paid into the treasury that they can spend themselves. So that is the origin and the function of the reverse tax credit. That those of the lower income bracket will get back some of the money they paid in VAT in their daily living as a matter of course.
This is I mean, when we discussed about doing the show, I had no idea of where this was going to go. But this is when you have, Mr. Murray, when we have quality people on the show. The kind of material that came out here tonight, I'm telling you guys. One person on here left, they said that it's hurt in the head and they're gone. Good night. Is it too much? I'm serious. The person said they have a headache and they're gone. But you see, but the Prime Minister says information calms the soul?
The spirit.
But they're not telling us that that's why the woman head is hurting her, because we have not been told. We're told that it's going to enhance the NIS tax. Look, we need to expand the population. We need more people. We'll get more taxes. All of those things, and those are good things. But we are seeing in reality another one. But this is going to just be the tip of the iceberg, because I need Mrs. Strickland to come back next week Monday with a PowerPoint, sir. I give you homework. I give you the teacher homework.
I will be back next week, God willing, with PowerPoint, because I think that it is I know the speed at which I travel, person will not be able to grasp it, but at least we would whet person's appetite to what is on the table at present. Because I was going to start by saying the information that I'm going to share tonight. This information will not quell the soul.
It did not. Somebody's gone. Lord,
I was going to start with that.
That person with the headache. Somebody's saying here, and if you don't know the answer, and you can bring it back next week, because I really want to take the next couple of minutes before we open the phone lines at 9:30. Okay, because people are calling. Not yet. It's 9:30 tonight. The PM said around. Janice is saying the PM said around COVID that she would end NIS in 10 years. So it doesn't make sense really contributing. I don't know. Anybody's heard anything like that?
No.
That'd be madness.
No. I would have to hear the full context of that statement. If the part is about national insurance, I can't ever remember the Prime Minister mentioning in 10 years. What I can say to you is that during campaigning for the last general election, she did indicate that we needed to do pension reform. Barbadians, I don't know where they were, but she plainly said we have to do reform so that when it was done, all I could say was that Barbadians got what they paid for, because they were told, you want the same thing, that she'll be doing pension reform. I don't know what they thought she was going to be doing, you want the same, because she had already given the kind of increase that Mr. Murray said in respect of the non-contributory pension, which translated into increases for the contributory pensions. You want the same thing. But that, as far as I know, at 10 years something, I'm not familiar with any statement in respect of national insurance for 10 years.
Okay, interesting. Well, a caller, the person who is put it up is that Janice. Janice, you can, if you have that somewhere documented and you want to send it to us, go ahead and send it. Okay, and we learn together. So we might be wrong, or you might be right, or vice versa. But so please send that information to us, 236-7000. Now, Dave, if you could put up on the screen for us, because we've seen in the last couple of days, gentlemen and viewers, that there's been one person said this, another person saying something completely totally different. So on Saturday we heard the loud and clear the opposition leader, and good, this is a good one that they have all three of them in the same article, right? I think this is a good one. So let's see what we can read here, Dave. Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Let me remove this and see what we can read here, because this is interesting, Mr. Murray. Attorney General Dale Marshall is maintaining that the October 1st full free movement arrangement between Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines is on firm legal ground. Okay. Responding to concerns by the Barbados Bar Association, the BBA, in yesterday's Sunday Sun, matters also raised by the opposition Democratic leader during a press conference on Saturday, he insisted that government within the law when it extended indefinite stay status to nationals of the participating states under the historic initiative. I laud the Bar Association for keeping matters of national importance in view, but I can assure the Bar that as we sought to roll out the full freedom of movement between the four states, we considered all of the relevant legislation as they might impact our ability to meet the agreed commitments, Marshall said. He explained that the minister responsible for immigration had acted entirely within the scope of his power under the Immigration Act when exercising his decision to grant indefinite stay to nationals from Belize, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines and Dominica. We are satisfied, he said, that there can be no successful challenge to the granting of indefinite status. The grant of indefinite status does not touch and concern the subject matter of Caribbean community movement of skilled nationals, he added. And it goes on, okay? Now, I'm pausing there because I believe that most of us, unless Dave can find me the section that they quote, they're quoting Mr. Thorne. I think I see the paragraph there. So this Mr. Thorne is saying this during Saturday's press conference, opposition leader and DLP President Ralph Thorne accused Prime Minister Mia Mottley of overstepping her authority. Okay, I'll wait until it settles because I can't see it once it's moving. Of overstepping her authority and putting the cart before the horse. He said she did not have the power to unilaterally declare such a thing as full free movement without participation in the enhanced free movement arrangement. It's mixed up, but you got the point that I'm making. And most of us would have had that news. Oh, without first having Parliament, I'm sorry, guys, it seems a little disjointed. Without first having Parliament pass the relevant legislation, adding that the Immigration Bill and the Citizens Bill were still to be debated. So he's basically saying that the whole thing was entrenched in illegality, that it's not yet debated, not brought to the House, and it can't stand. And he actually instructed BRA and immigration not to follow this because it's not law. he was backed up by the president of the Bar Association. Well, with them asking questions, saying, they're basically asking what, while they believe in regional integration, they're saying the absence of a parliamentary instrument authorizing the policy created uncertainty. Okay. It argued, that is Bar argued, they argue that the immigration department could not legally confer an indefinite stay without specific legislative amendment, and caution that executive powers must operate within constitutional limits. Now, that is the Malay. That is what we're involved in. All right. We're in a tug and war here for our minds, because we're not legal luminaries, right? You have Miss Kay Williams. You have Mr. Ralph Stone, who is an astute lawyer. And you have, the Attorney General, who's another astute lawyer. So what are we? What's happening here? What's going on here? Mr. Bob, I see you are ready to go. Go right ahead.
I am glad that Mr. Marie is here, because I think that in the Attorney General's response, he admitted that it has to go to the House for confirmation in the same address that he gave, that there's some kind of discussion has to take place.
Yeah, the Prime Minister said that okay. Okay, I'm not a legal lawyer, but I try to follow logic and common sense.
Yes.
If what the Attorney General said is true, they've operated within the law by introducing the full free movement and the indefinite stay the way it did, why then is the government laying a bill to make that possible legally tomorrow in the House? If it already exists, it's done. You can do it twice. I mean, this is like the two deputy commissioner of police all over again.
So, Mr. Marie,
you agree? You see what I mean? If it is done,
yes.
And then why do you have to go tomorrow and lay special legislation to begin the debate to create to make it possible? I don't understand it.
And then, Mr. Marie, they said it after that happens, it has to go to some joint select committee.
No, the Prime Minister said that it will go, and then it has to go to the Senate, then it has to go for discussion with people. I don't think she said, but it'll be open for contributions and comments, etc. So the process is now starting. So how can it be now starting as of tomorrow? You already did it as of the 1st. Does not make sense. Somebody is trying to confuse me, but I'm not confused.
Because that is exactly what that happened today. That's exactly what the Attorney General did today in terms of confusing the persons like me who's trying to understand how you can have something in pass and then you have to discuss it 3 or 4 times at different levels, then to confirm that that is what it is.
But based on what I remember from Saturday, Mr. Thorne indicated that both bills, the Immigration and Citizenship Bill, are both before the Joint Select Committee. And therefore, the public will be given the opportunity to make submissions. So even though they're going to Parliament tomorrow, based on what Mr. Thorne said, that seems to be still a step in the whole journey. Now, for me, it makes it very, very interesting for tomorrow. Very interesting for tomorrow, for the simple reason that it can be argued that Mr. Thorne is on an agenda because he's leader of the opposition. The question is the Bar Association on an agenda? I would have to say no. So for each member of Parliament, when speaking tomorrow, I'm going to be anxiously waiting what they're going to say, because either they're going to be criticizing Mr. Thorne as the leader of the opposition, or they can be criticizing the Bar Association. And as the Bar Association said in yesterday's Sanderson, they have members who are already in difficult positions for some of their clients. And I can imagine, say, Shafat is going to have their legal team. So they know, are the laws know, can I bring these people? What is going to happen? So there's a whole lot that is on the table. And tomorrow's sitting in the whole assembly will be very, very interesting. Very interesting, because not only Mr. Thorne and the Bar Association have made their positions clear, but the Attorney General has come out and made his positions clear. So somebody may have to back down or whatever else.
Marcia, I think we're probably dealing with at least 3 pieces of legislation. The 2 with the citizens, and one of which are before the select committee, and the new legislation that's supposed to lay tomorrow. And unless there's special provision made, I beg to lay that this bill, that's a formality. And then you can come back later in the session and say, I beg to read that be read the first time. And then a second time, and then you go into debate. So a full-fledged debate is not likely to take place tomorrow. Because unless they're amending standing orders, because urgency or whatever. So in order to do that, to have a proper debate, it's not likely to take place because the bill is coming fresh tomorrow. And supposedly only the government people will see it overnight, etc., before it's actually laid formally. So I do not anticipate that debate will take place tomorrow. What we find is the content of tomorrow's bill, as again what's happening with that lies with the select committee. What is the difference between them? What we want to be doing that the other has not done, I will not do. That is the interesting thing about it.
Wow.
Thanks for the clarification, Mr. Murray, but sometimes members of parliament will still have to speak on this matter. At that point, it's going to be very interesting because the 3 persons have already come out and said their position, and therefore they're going to have to be disagreeing or agreeing with the 2 other persons you want to same, or and leaving the Attorney General, as has happened in the past, on a very sticky wicket where they've had to pull back bills.
Interesting. I'm here communicating with a lawyer as we are speaking, and one of I'm waiting for some responses from them, because it would have been interesting if the AG had quoted the actual chapter, what chapter was referring to, right? So that people can go and take a look at it. But I'm seeing something here that Adrian Hines, and so it might be one of those things where they you know how it is, you say half of a truth. You know how they like to do that. That's what they did with the tint. You remember that? They say half of something. So apparently what Adrian is saying here, Adrian is not a lawyer. I don't want them to come for you, Adrian. Adrian is not a lawyer, okay? But Adrian is saying that there is, in the Immigration Act, you say cap 190. Okay, I'm getting a call. I'm going to take the call. Hold a minute. I'm going to take the call, but I'm taking it off, okay? I'm going to take it off the show. And just continue, somebody can continue reading what Adrian is saying there, please, if you can. Thank you. Mr. BABB, see if you can do that.
Under the current Immigration Act, Cap 190, the Minister of Immigration has broad powers in granting indefinite stay/immigration status. Here's a clear breakdown of their role and the process. Mr. Murray, help us there.
I don't understand. Here's a clear break. Is that he's asked for a breakdown, or he's saying that there's been a breakdown in the process by the immigration minister have these powers and probably executing as against what the others are saying? I'm not quite sure what was being asked.
I'm not sure either, because I don't know if it's a breakdown is a breakdown or explanation. You mean the explanation of the
a detailed explanation. I mean a breakdown, a fracture of the arrangements of the working system.
Or he say what we are missing is that these persons will automatically eligible for permanent resident status when the immigration bill becomes law.
When?
When? Yes, it's a big question.
When?
So to say that, and so I am still trying to understand, like many Barbadians who are not lawyers, what happens, what really happened on October 1st, as opposed to what will happen after the debate and the process is followed through the House Assembly. With October 1st will be counted as the time and into the 6 months, or after the discussion.
Well, I know, generally speaking, in our legal system, you're not supposed to have retroactive law. You make grandfather and make special provision for certain things to be continued while something comes to be. But you can't strike back in 1992 or 2001 to bring this into affairs. So it'd be interesting to see how they phrase it, how they structure it, how they maneuver it to get what they want. Again, I think we have to wait to see what the legislation says first before we can then begin to understand what they seek to do with the legislation that's brought forward.
But based on the press conference on Saturday, that was an issue that was raised with Mr. Thorne, and he was very clear that any individual or entity in Barbados can take the chief immigration officer to court if he determines that it starts from October the 1st, where there's no legislation to grant him the authority from October the 1st. So both him and the BRA, maybe to lesser extent, Customs and National Insurance, those leaders, the control of Customs,
Hi, Adrian. Hold a
it
second,
would
please.
mean that they've already been put on notice. They've already been put on notice that they should not take directive from the Attorney General nor the Prime Minister. They need to know what is their legal standing in any decision that they have to make. That was very, very clear to a question from, I think, a member of the media on Saturday during that press conference.
Yes. Could you hold a second, please, panelists? We have a caller, and it's their time now. Callers, you're free to give us a call at this time. This is your time. Okay, caller, welcome to the MARCIA Week Show. Yes, hold a second. We're not hearing you. Okay. Welcome to the MARCIA Week Show.
Hi, Marcia. This is Adrian. I just wanted to give a little clarity.
Yes, good night. Good night and welcome. And Mr. Young says a hello to you, Mr. Victor Young.
Oh, I saw that. Yes. I will try to reach out to him.
Okay.
I saw that.
You're not hearing him? Are you hearing, Mr.? Are you hearing? Anybody hearing?
A little soft and muffled. If you can speak up a bit, yeah.
Oh. We are.
Go ahead, though.
Yes, let's see if this is better.
Yeah. Hold on.
Turn up your phone, please.
My phone?
Yes, make sure your phone is up. The volume is up. I'm just not sure. I'm just.
Oh, turn it up. Yeah, it's completely up.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what else. And I have it on speakerphone. Should I take it off speakerphone and try it without that?
Yeah, probably. And let's see. Thank you.
Is this better?
It's better?
It's the same. Let him go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Adrian. Go ahead.
So I was just attempting to say, what if the Attorney General was correct? So that's all I put that up there for. That we know that October 1st, the only immigration law in place is the current Barbados Immigration Act 190, because the Immigration Bill 2025 is not law. So what does the Act say? The Act says that the Minister of Immigration has broad powers, granting indefinite stay and immediate status. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but that I think would cover anybody coming in on October 1st, where the minister can exercise those broad powers to give those people indefinite stay, right? So I think, based on what I'm saying, that the Attorney General has a point. However, When the immigration bill becomes the law and the current Act 190 is done away with, under that law, under the new immigration law, right, you have to gain permanent residency in order to apply for citizenship. And some of the requirements to become a permanent residency includes individuals who are already in Barbados under immigrant status, which is the status that the old law would give them. That would include those people that came in on October 1st and were given indefinite stay as under immigrant status. So they can automatically apply for permanent residency, right? Because normally permanent residency would take about 2 years, but they can get it right away. And once you get permanent residency, then it is 6 months preceding your application as a permanent resident for citizenship. So the leader of the opposition is correct, right? That there are people coming in today, people who have been here on October 1st and prior, who have immigrant status, who can apply for permanent residency under the new immigration bill. And as soon as they apply, they have 6 months. And that 6 months, that 6 months could run for 2 years, or they can say, I'm going to stay in Barbados for the next 6 months and get their citizenship. So, again, from what I'm reading, the leader of the opposition is correct.
Yeah.
But with regards to whether people coming in on October 1st are here illegally, that is questionable given the broad powers of the Minister of Immigration under the current Immigration Act 190.
Right. So I spoke to a lawyer. Hold on there, Adrian. And when I got off, and this is what I'm reading what I have here, and I wrote that the discretion to give a person time to remain in a country, because that's what the Minister of Immigration, they would use their discretion to extend the person's time in a country, is very different from making a person a citizen, right? You're creating citizens, and so that is where you would require this new immigration and the Citizens Bill to be passed in order to make them citizens. So I think it's some gray area there. That but as you and I, we're lay people, but we're throwing our hat in the ring there, and we will, as the week go on, trust me, it's all going to come out.
Yeah, I agree. I just think, being a person, you can read this stuff and it kind of makes sense, and you can ask questions, intelligent
Correct.
questions.
Yeah.
The authorities, the lawyers, to answer them in layman terms. It's not a difficult process. So I think, yes, the original stint that the leader of the opposition laid at the feet of government still stands. With this new bill, people can gain permanent residency because they already have immigrant status. And once they have permanent resident status, they can, within 6 months, become a citizen.
Once the bill is passed. Once the bill is passed. Okay.
Right, but with regards to, just to finish with this, but with regards to the status of those folks who are coming in on October 1st, it seems like the current law allows for the minister to exercise great discretion in giving them indefinite stay. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And I think what the lawyer is saying, indefinite stay and creating citizens, two different things, because the other one not yet.
But yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to stay. I just said that. Of course, it is different. Of course, right? And I just stated the step. The person coming on October 1st is going to become a citizen 6 months from October 1st, because in order for him to become a citizen, he has to become a permanent resident. And he can't become a permanent resident until the Immigration Bill 2025 becomes law. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah. And I will, it's any comments from anybody any of you? Anybody? I know this is, I like to have the lawyer speak. That's the truth. But Any of you have, as Adrian said, we can have intelligent questions.
No, I just suspect that some of these matters might have to be might end up before the courts of Barbados or even the CCJ, because when you have divergent, if you have two equally or three or four equally qualified eminent lawyers have different interpretations, different conclusions. So they will have to go to higher powers to determine which is the relevant current one that will obtain. So that's why I'm waiting to see. I have an open mind to see. I want to see what that legislation tomorrow that's supposed to be, what that says and what it deals with, and then I begin to shape my mind as to where it might be going from there. Because I'm really intrigued by tomorrow's law.
Yeah. Tomorrow. I tell a lot of people will be watching. Mr. BABB, any thoughts there?
Mr. Murray, I'm going to be watching carefully, because if we have the president of the Bar Association, we have the opposition leader who's a lawyer, and then there are cross purposes with the Attorney General, and he's coming across as he's putting his case for support the Prime Minister, and I suspect that is what is going to happen when the debate starts, as it relates to the announcement October 1st. Then the debate is going to be very interested in the House to follow.
But I would add, at the end of the day, you have public workers being the chief immigration officer, having to make certain decisions, because he has to make a decision before it goes to before the minister. And as Mr. Murray said, I can see some of these matters end up in the law court for a definite ruling. You want what I'm saying? So that this is one which is going to, and the thing about it is that the not just the other three states are eagerly following what is happening in Barbados, but I'm saying across CARICOM, across the world, they're watching us to see, how we do business here in Barbados. You want what I'm saying? Because if they're citizens that are coming here, and they must be concerned with what they believe that their citizens will be entitled to and might not be entitled to. So this is a very, very open situation, and a number of people are going to be involved in this whole matter right now.
If I might add a different dimension, really.
Just before you add the dimension there, just a reminder that this is the time for you to call. We only have literally another 12 minutes. And so I'm going to put the number again on the screen, 236-7000. Go ahead, Mr. Murray.
Yeah, I just want to point out that where these public officers, maybe the chief immigration officer, etc., are concerned, they're usually advised by government's legal department, the Solicitor General, Attorney General officer. So they're not likely to go off on their own independent basis. They will be guided, I suspect, by what the law officers tell as their interpretation of the law, and that therefore might we have to see how that goes as against then the broader interpretation as against the government's interpretation of the law.
Yes. We have a caller there. We have a caller there, Mrs. Strickland.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I hope you remember the point. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. We're happy to have you. Go right ahead.
Hello, good night. I have a question for Mrs. Strickland.
You have a question for Mrs. Strickland. Mrs. Strickland, can you hear?
I can barely hear.
Barely.
Okay, I will try to speak as hard as I can. If you would have paid in, say, 9 years of contributory pension, what should be the outcome for you if you paid in 9 years? I will put down and listen to what you have to say. 9 years of NIS.
Yes, thank you. Can you repeat the question? Mr.
No, I heard the question. You're speaking about prior from 2023, because in 2023, you needed 500 contributions, which was 10 years, As we speak in 2025, you need 560 contributions, so that even if you were taking 2023 and you had 9 years of contributions and you reach pensionable age, you cannot pay any more contribution, which means that you'll be given a contributory grant, which is a one-off payment, but then you'll be entitled to apply for a non-contributory pension, which I must repeat is not an automatic right, which means that if you were deemed to have been self-employed for those other years, because you only paid in 9 years, then that non-contributory pension may very well be disallowed. But I must remind individuals that is no longer 10 years, 500 contributions. As I speak right now, we are in 2025, and you need at least 560 contributions. And remember, this is moving down to 750 contributions starting in 2031. So, the 9 years has long passed. I mean, the 10 years has long passed, which means that 9 years was not enough back then, and it will not be enough right now.
Wow.
Okay.
I can see some suffering.
Yes, you can see it. I can tell you.
Continuous suffering, right?
Man-made, inflicted by man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although I think that a person must be encouraged to pay more than just the minimum, which was 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
where they'll be entitled to a minimum contributory pension of the 13,000, and they live to 1890, the amount that they would have drawn out of the scheme based on that. So personally, I did not have a problem with that particular change and so forth, because the people were exploiting the system by only paying 10, and therefore, they were receiving a whole lot more.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Strickland. We have another caller. Caller, welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, good night to the show. And
good night, sir.
What I must say is that it is almost like dealing with an infant or baby that has messed itself, and then you gotta clean it, Barbados, I don't think has ever had, from the time I could remember, and from the research that I would have done in politics, has ever had to deal with a government, whether BLP, DLP, making such decisions, and then people have to come scrambling after to find out how will we manage in X and Y. I would reiterate, even if it may sound like a recurring decimal, any government or any prime minister that believes in a democracy, that they can continue to behave and to govern in this kind of way, I will repeat myself, needs to be voted out. What I think is very troubling is that, in agreement with what the leader of opposition said as it relates to, he might not have said these words, but I deem it to be a flying vote scheme, a flying vote scheme. And are you telling me that a government is so paranoid or so afraid of losing government that political allies would join together to say, you know what, we can't afford to lose power, so what I will do is I will send my people to you when you have your government, when you have your election, and space them out and register them in XY constituency, make sure that your seat is sound. Is that what Barbados has come to, or is that what the elected or selected countries have come to as it relates to democracy? Right. So was what you're doing on the show and discussion as it relates to NAS and certain things are valid, I think Barbados has to go back to the drawing board and ask why these discussions are happening, and if PM Motley has really a right Malaysia, where you remember the late when after how he said that, he said it in a similar way. A right to just commandeer literally the governance of the country without participatory input. You know, so kudos to what you're doing, Marcia. It is a phenomenal effort, and your team come on, you know, whatever you do. But it is sad that Barbados has come to this point, and I am hoping that the populace keep their eyes open and realize that pets, and there's something you said, I heard you said tonight about the it was a very condescending statement that you had to address. Was it Mr. Murray that? Oh yes.
Yeah, the pot of food, a pot of that the
Okay.
economy is like a pot of food.
Not like a pot of food.
I said in the comment section that it is almost as if Motley is proud to be the maturation of her grandfather. You know, I would because nobody in this life or the couple's life to come has any control of their lineage. But what I am talking about is what is common knowledge, as what PM Barra had to deal with, and to derail mistreatment, right? I won't go into that much, but what I would end on is that Barbados has to understand that we have never, under any BLP or DLP administration, Barbados has never seen any prime minister in its history continue to do gun deal negotiations without the full party input of not only the party of the day, but opposition as well as the public. And for that government needs to be voted out.
Yes. Thank you so much, caller. We're always happy to hear you. Thank you so much.
All the best to you.
Yes, thanks. Yes. I believe I'm hoping that Mr. Strickland did not forget what he had to say. He was saying, I know we want to respond to that call, but I want to let him just finish.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. Anybody, Mr. Murray or Mr. Barber has any comments there? And there's another caller coming right up.
I just want to say the last speaker made a very salient point, and it's something highly in my mind which I was going to give towards the end of the show, but I give it now. Based on how I observe, when I analyze the content, the structure, the approach, the language of the PM's presentation last on the 30th dealing with this free movement, and the way this whole thing has been handled, I think the Prime Minister, to my mind, she has begun to see herself as the embodiment of the country. The Mama Mia, I'm the mother of the country. And if I think it, I believe it, I want that it says. I don't have to think it, I want it. There was in the 17th century, Louis XIV in France had a phrase called, basically said, I am the state. That's it. I am the state. He saw himself as representing the state, and there was nobody who could ask him about that because he was the embodiment, the humanoid version of the state. I believe the Prime Minister is somewhat like that, where she thinks that she knows it all, knows that betting ballers can decide for everybody else, the long term, short term, because this is her role and this is her entitlement and this is her decision to make a little bit work alone. Hello?
Yes. I too was when I listened to that clip about the pot of food and how she spoke to, and the tone that she spoke to Barbadians was quite condescending, and would say that it isn't like a pot of food that if somebody gets some, the other person won't get any. But I'm saying that she continued to speak to us in that way because she believes that her decisions, and this is not the first time. We had it with the two senators. We had it with the two ministers, McConney and Adams, and then we had it with this young boy who they wanted to put into the Senate. Mm-hmm. And this is just a continuation of how she sees herself in terms of how Barbados ought to respond to her decisions. And then she gets the Attorney General and the others to come and defend her. So I'm saying that we have to say to the Prime Minister that you were elected by us, and major decisions such as these must go through the right channels. And if there's something that the public has to have their input because it changes our lives, then we should.
But maybe the Prime Minister is not at fault, so to speak. Maybe we are seeing her limitations. These constant missteps. Maybe it is just that, they say she's been elevated to her own incumbents where she can no longer, she's been good or even very good at outstanding, but now this is beyond her. And therefore she keeps bungling and making mistakes because maybe the requirements of the job are now beyond her capacity. Because let me say this again. Because I sat with her in cabinet for 9 years, and I worked with her in several different kids outside that. She was never outstanding. She was never brilliant. She never left her mouth open saying, wow, 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 where you got that from? She was all right. She presents well, so therefore, I think the public has, you know about force, right? We have a term called force, right? You're precautious, basically call it force, right? And people often, it's been found that people often mistake precautious where you're really grown up and things for your time for being prodigious. Precautious is not prodigious where you're outstanding, bright, brilliant. And the two are not the same. And if you look at it, the Prime Minister is probably the least educated of all our leaders. Academically.
Wow.
Academically.
So we actually are saying, we are actually seeing some kind of inferiority complex coming out, because people who have an inferiority complex will make those decisions. And the point that you made, I will make that point. You can't make the same blunder over and over again and then tell me that you're bright.
Listen, I think we need to do, and Mr. Murray been saying that since he started this show, he's going to do a special show to really show us who the Prime Minister is. And he and Caswell, they're able to do this kind of thing because Caswell has been telling us that she's not very bright. But Mr. Murray, it is now 10:03, so that is something I would love.
I now feel like talking.
I know.
And I'm enjoying it.
I could see that, but what I would say is that let's prepare. You have been promising us a particular show, and I think we're getting to that point, Mr. Murray.
Timing. Remember, we always talk.
Yeah, you always said. So I think we're coming up to that time, because what you just revealed there, we were staying here the whole night. You know that, Mr. Strickland. So we're going to let's close off and we've heard so much since the night has started. Don and SHAQUANI, thank you. Hunt, and then we went on to Mr. Murray. Very interesting conversation there, and then moving on to this bombshell moment with Strickland. In terms of the NIS and pensions and all of this discussion that we've been having here. Mr. BABB came in and joined in. What do we do now? We have a march that is coming up, and I know Mr. Murray supports the marches and protests. He doesn't come, but he supports them. What can we say to Barbados about this public display of our what we feel about these immigration and citizenship bills that we believe could change Barbados forever? Is this something that you think that Barbados need to show need to have a public display of their disgust or their protest to these bills? So let me go to Mr. Strickland first. Just half a minute. A minute.
Okay. Mr. BABB would have spoken just now about, this constant behavior. And we've had marches, we've had this show. I honestly do not know what else can be done at this present moment other than those within, because you can have a no confidence motion by the opposition will not work. But I think it's going to take all representatives individually to have the guts to stand up and say enough is enough. I think that is the only that will make a difference to our prime minister right now. That her own members will have the guts to stand up and say, listen, Prime Minister, I'm a Barbadian, I'm representing a constituency, and I will not be party to this. We've seen Marcia Cattle making the statement that she made, but yet she didn't go any further. And I'm saying that the only way that we're going to have a difference at this present moment, other than the calling of a poll, will be for those persons that we have elected to represent us stand up and say, no, we do not subscribe to your behavior. That's the only thing.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Strickland and Mr. BABB.
Yes, I think I agree. I know I agree with Mr. Strickland that those persons around her, and I thought that today when the Attorney General had the opportunity to say, look, this is the way that we should have gone with this, and we are going to wait until this passes through the House and have a full discussion with the people of Barbados. I thought that he missed that opportunity again to redeem himself after all the fiasco with criminal violence. He missed another opportunity, and I guess because they are all blinded by the fact that they have to defend the PM. And I would notice that whenever they stop to speak on any matter, the PM Motley says this and wants this and do. They always starts with that. And I'm saying that the time has come for us. The opportunity will be for us as Barbadians to say to them, look, you were elected to defend our interests. You did not. And we're going to do something about it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And I hope you will be at the march again. You were at the march, the last one that we had.
Yes, I'm going to be there.
Yes,
I can't go all the way up, but I'm going to be there at some point.
Yes. Yeah. Did you get your shirt? Did you get a shirt?
Not as yet, and that's not important. I will get one at some point.
well, come with a whistle or something to make noise.
Of course.
Let's close up the night with
Mr. I didn't know I had my final say.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. I said no. I said let us close out the night with Mr. Murray.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay.
I
just want to say that
you're on the top left hand.
As an observer of human behavior and societies and whatnot, you heard me talk about timing, and things very often have to come to a boil before you see appreciable progress. All that we're talking about, all the things that happen to society, are in themselves contributing to a process which would come to a head at the right time. Oh, let me also say that even though the Prime Minister led her party to victory 30-love twice, it doesn't mean that she's impregnable. In the same way that she was taken out as leading opposition in 2010, if the forces are so aligned and conjoined to determine it, she can also be taken out now at the same time. It is just a question of who and what and why and when. But it is not impossible. It happened, I know, because it was part of that process in 2010. And it was done step by steps. If the persons are of the right mind and inclination and intent, it can also happen now or in some time in the future.
Yes. Thank you. Well said. And we want to qualify because some of them are just so mischievous. When we say taken down, or taken out, we're speaking politically.
Of course.
Right? We know that. I heard the Prime Minister in our speech talking about get rid of. I mean, nobody's speaking physically get rid of anybody. We're talking about it's a political conversation we're having. All right. So, we just like to to clarify that. Guys, what a wonderful night. My book is written out with all kinds of notes, and I'm here, lots of things to go over. I hope you took a lot of notes too. Thank you to all the callers that we're happy to have heard Adrian Hines tonight. Adrian, you're giving us homework to go and check that out. And we're looking forward to the debate tomorrow. Thank you to all the viewers who joined in, and of course to Mr. Strickland, Mr. Murray, and Mr. BABB. Thank you so much for taking time to be here tonight. Thank you, Dave, for making sure that all the technicals are good and keeping the show running. Thanks to everybody. May God bless you, and I will see you again on Wednesday.
Good night.
God
Good
bless
night.
you
Good
all.
night.
All right. Good night. Thanks.
One hit, rhythm drop. Who running this show? Nobody know. Taxes high, but two wages low. The PM talk, the rest lie low. In BIM is a one-woman show. Lancelot, crime run wild, still we smiling Caribbean style, singing words with rhythm and flow. 'Cause soca never sugarcoat. Running this show, nobody know. Taxes high, but two wages low. The PM talk, the rest lie low. In BIM is a one-woman show. Lancelot, crime run wild, still we smiling Caribbean style, singing words with rhythm and flow. 'Cause soca never sugarcoat. The youth them balling in the street, but the police seat still warm from heat. Gunshot barking every night, yet not a soul come out of sight. Them say investigation start. 2 years past, not a single chart. CCTV done gone blind, and the brass act like crime can't find. Who running this show? Nobody know. Taxes high, but two wages low. The PM talk, the rest lie low. In BIM is a one-woman show. Lancelot, crime run wild, still we smiling Caribbean style, singing words with rhythm and flow. 'Cause soca never sugarcoat. Who running the show? Nobody know. Who calling the blow? We don't know till she tell us so. Gas price climbing out of control. Tax take more than church take soul. Man work a month, sweat and grind, still can't afford the corn beef tin. Fiat on water, tax palm breeze. Poor man begging, love some ease. Politician cruising, you bench shine, say tight your belt while them drink wine. Who running this show?